Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today, we have a very special guest, Michael Mason. He is a filmmaker, actor, director, producer, man of many talents.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there we go. Oh, okay. I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Heyo Studios.
Yay! Yeah, I've always seen your little posts about these. I was like, hey, I gotta check this out.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. That's awesome. You know, it's funny. So Michael and I, we met at the Bullets, Fangs, and Dinner at 8
Yeah, that
set.
was Matthew Roca back in the day.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
uh, that was a fun shoot.
Yeah, it
That
was.
was the church shoot from what I remember. I saw you guys filming, and I was like, I wanted to go up there. I want to ask me if I could die since this is something gruesome.
Oh, yeah. Did you
And,
get
and
did you get killed in it?
I got killed, and
You
I got
gotta-
spit on with a bunch of blood, and it was interesting. I got shot several times before that, but yeah. And then
Oh,
I came
no.
back again, like I think like two more times after that. And then I died again, and then I came back again. And yeah, so I had like three shoots with Matt Rook on that. But
Wow.
yeah, he's out doing his own thing. We were gonna work on one project together, but weird stuff happened. So like he did his thing, I did mine. Before that, I actually had him in one of my films. I did a Mormons versus zombie film, and he played a part.
Oh, nice. Was he a Mormon or was he a zombie?
He was a survivor. We had his own house where the Mormons actually like had a run in where there were a bunch of zombies and that kind of stuff. And he was like this homeowner that was just like angry.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, he loved that part. But it was
Oh,
good.
yeah. You gotta give him any part, any like villainous role or anything like that. Rachel Lisa's in the building. Hi, Rachel Lisa. How are you? Good to see you. Glad you got. Looks like you got the notification this time, so that's good. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. So you've been making films for a number of years, and are you still based in San Diego
Yeah,
area?
yeah. I'm still based in
Awesome.
San Diego. I've been living in Carlsbad, like ever since. Um, I've got my own crew down here, and it's a lot cheaper than LA. And for me to commute to LA, I'll do that. But for to live up to like the second worst city in the entire United States, I'm like, I'm still kind of mulling it over. So I just commute.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like LA will always kind of be there, unless it gets, unless like an apocalypse happens and it gets hit by a meteor, which could you never know. LA could happen.
LA, it needs to happen for LA.
Yeah, mine. It's funny. Like I've got a little bit of a love hate thing going on. Like I love LA, but like I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. Like I lived there for 8 years.
I don't know. I just feel like it's places like that have just deteriorated like to a point where people don't want to fix things.
Yeah.
I mean, like I wish that the mayor would do something about the homeless and them having two-story uh, uh, houses on the street.
Right.
The crime, theft, the whole thing is it's a mess. And I have to go up to LA next week to film an event, and I'm like paranoid about my bringing up my camera rig.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you'll be okay. What, are you going to be in downtown area or which part?
Oh, we're talking about Century Boulevard
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
near LAX.
Oh gosh. Okay. That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Hmm.
That's not too bad. Alan, we got Alan in the house. Alan, how are you? Good to hear from you. Alan is one of my friends from Improv, who's also in our latest movie, Simp. Which, to answer your question, Alan, the movie is not out yet. So we had a little sneak peek premiere thing, but we still have audio fixings, post production, funness. I'm sure you might be familiar with some post production uh, sound, ADR, all that good stuff. So that's what we're doing with Simp, and but that will be out soon. But maybe I could send you a little screener, Alan. I don't know if I feel up for it. we'll talk later. But yeah, so Michael, you've made some pretty darn ambitious films, and I must like just credit you for uh for for having this ambition. It's just the word that keeps coming to mind when it comes to I remember you were telling me about, like, I think Whitefire at the time you were filming it, and tell us a little bit about that.
All right, so I guess it was okay. Whitefire was my original beast, and then it grew out. It grew to be this almost apocalyptic event in my life. But I started it. Well, I guess like what's fair is when I first got into film, my friends asked me, it's like, hey, you want to come with us? We're going to play a couple like commandos going through the woods. We're going to shoot a terrorist. So I was like, okay, I'll play the terrorist. So I got the ski mask and the fatigues on, and like I asked him, I was like, well, what's the terrorist going to be doing? I was like, well, I don't know. You have any ideas? Oh, well, I was making a tuna fish sandwich at the time, and I was like, okay, let's have him eat mayonnaise. So I get down there, and I'm playing a terrorist, and my friends are doing the whole commando thing, kind of looking with their guns, that kind of stuff. And there's like a shot where they're shooting at me, and I'm supposed to react, but what ends up happening is like I pick up the gun and I slip, and then I hit this I guess like this rock quarry, like no, not rock quarry, rock wall behind me, and a piece of tar breaks on my head, and I get buried. So ever since
did this actually happen? It wasn't in the movie that just oh my
gosh.
Because
like at the time we didn't call it Whitefire, but it's the same project. And we got so addicted into filming after that because it literally all hit me after that. So I pretty much started making that film from about 2004 to like 2011 to like there's sporadic scenes all the way up until 2018. It was weird. I mean, like, okay, now that's to narrow it down even more from 2008 to 2011 is where we did like most of the filming. But like it's because it was mini DV and like this is early 2000s, the quality wasn't the best. And then in the early years, we were just a bunch of friends just having fun out in the woods with a camera. So it's like when I finally put that film like I had it all done in like 2015. So I was like, all right, cool. It's done. I have my fun. It's a 6.5 hour beast that I'm going to put onto a hard drive. Yes.
My gosh.
Because like it turned into a movie that we wanted to do. And then all of a sudden it's like I started like, changing things around so much that I turned it into a mini series and so forth.
Okay.
But one of the bigger problems that I did with that project, because I was obsessed about film. Is the mistake I did is that I put copyrighted music in it. And that was like a very bad thing. I still got all the files that don't have like that music involved, but there was just like a couple of scenes here and there where I took Jim Morrison from The Doors and I put it behind a giant rabbit, for example.
Okay. Right. Of course. Yeah.
I borrowed my job's costume, the Little Caesar costume, and I put him in the film with an AK-47. I did a lot of crazy stuff in this film. I casted a lot of women, and I had them all in a jungle from fighting terrorists.
Wow.
It was so by the end of the day, I probably blew about I would say 24,000 on this film, and I loved it because it was a hobby film and so forth. But one thing I come to notice about what I do is I'm also a costume designer on top of all this. So basically, all my characters and ideas, I would draw up characters, and then I would cast the actor or actress, and then I would make the costume, and then have this whole thing like where bam, I got a new character, and I made a story around it. So it has a lot of nostalgia for me, but I come to realize, like, this being like 2023 and like that kind of stuff, that mini DV quality is terrible by today's standards, especially when everybody's shooting on 6K, 8K kind of cameras. So I have action figures of it. I have little comic pieces of it. I'm probably going to turn it into a graphic novel at some points. I mean, let's see here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I do have action figures of the characters.
Oh, that is cool. Wow. That is really cool.
Yeah.
How did you make the action figures?
I got a friend of mine at a Comic-Con who basically does it for a business.
Wow.
So 100% customizable characters. I mean, I got like 6 of them like chilling right here from that film. And so after I finished that film, I picked it up again in 2018, where I just added a small scene at the credits that had my wife in it. So because she said she loved WHITEFIRE and she wanted to be a part of it, but she never got to. So I actually did something bad. I added a new scene, and then the last thing I did with it was I actually had a showing of it in 2019 before the pandemic hit, and people loved it. They enjoyed it, and then I made DVDs, and then I sent them out to people, and that kind of stuff. But nowadays, like, I'm debating what I can do with it. But I've done that film. I've done a Pirates versus Ninja film. I did Mission Apocalypse, which is like a Mormons versus zombie film. I've done a haunted painting film, and now we're making a sequel to WHITEFIRE. Only it's going to be a lot shorter.
Okay. Wow. So out of those, so was WHITEFIRE just kind of like your first, like delve into a feature film epic type thing, and then from there, how was that? Like, how were your next projects approaching your next project? Like, taking what you learned from that experience to your next ones?
Okay, well, definitely, the first thing I wanted to do was upgrade all my equipment. I wanted,
Right.
I mean, like, because we were at the time, it's like, this, you got to think this is early 2000s, so like going to Best Buy and buying a camera for $100 is not something I wanted to do twice.
You're right. You're right.
So with all my newer projects, obviously better camera, better sound equipment, lighting, green screens, blue screens, all the gizmos, scrims. I just wanted the production value to go up a lot more, because the creativity's there, but the production and it was really suffering in those first couple of films. As with any project you make in the early 2000s, that was a problem. But nowadays, it's we do a lot more. I mean, like, my posts on Facebook, it's like you see me, like, with a camera rig, and like, I have monitors and transmitters and all this other stuff. I got friends who help me write stuff. I got people who I assign in roles and that kind of stuff. But for the stuff I do now, it's like it's different, because we're not like, as like before, like just going in the woods and deciding who's going to die first 8 times.
Right.
Today is like, okay, you're going to do grip, you're going to do sound, you're going to do this, and we're going to do this really cool story right here. It's going to be a lot of fun for everybody. So it's like, over the course of these films, it's like I've made like all these other projects, but the thing is, I never left that universe, because it's all the same universe, kind of like the MCU. Because Mission Apocalypse is a prequel to WHITEFIRE, and the next movies I made after that are sequels or side stories in a way that are loosely have like these little loose Easter eggs in there. So it's like, I guess it was George Lucas that said, films are never finished; they're always abandoned.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, I do make projects where they're completely not like related at all. I mean, like, I help out the Klingons at San Diego Comic-Con, so I do help out with Star Trek films. I grew up hating Star Trek, but they're good people, and they got me into it a bit. So so that's fine. I don't mind doing that. My wife wanted to make a Michael Myers short film that we're finishing up right now. So
Oh, that's fun.
so yeah, we're doing projects like that. Um, but yeah, I've done a lot of client work. I mean, like people would come up to me with music videos and like, and they say, here's money. You're helping me make this video. Okay, let's go.
Right.
But yeah, it just never stopped. I mean, like I have plans to do um, always own. I want to get this flamethrower and do some
Okay.
crazy stuff with that. So I want to get into pyrotechnics more in the films. So yeah, I can just go into detail about all this kind of stuff. My garage is full of guns and swords like crazy, like bins and bins of stuff, and costumes. But yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, like because there's like the hobby kind of filmmakers that kind of do it for fun, but they typically never really finish their projects. Then there's people that like you do it for fun hobby, but then it becomes an obsession, and you already love film, so then you keep that going, right? So how do you balance with your movies and you take on other video projects and stuff too? And where have you gone about? Have you just been self-financing all your stuff as of late? Or
yeah,
what is
I've
that?
been for the most part, I've been doing odd jobs like to afford things. I mean, I know in the industry they tell you never to like use your own finances to like fund your projects, but I don't know. I've always had a thing about like begging people for money to make a film because I don't think people do it. So
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. But which by the way, go to the Indiegogo guys and help support it. But no, I know what you mean, man. I mean, it's something where like you have to if you have skin in the game, if you have your own money in it, it's like you do take it a lot more seriously. But there does get to a point where like I was at a point where I'm like, okay, to make it like really legit, to have actual production quality, I could keep doing all these side gigs, but I'd be doing a million of these side gigs just to try to break even for years. So
well, it's picking your battles really because I do DoorDash, and
Mhm.
DoorDash gives me a lot of money in a short time. That's how I look at it. You work a whole day at DoorDash, that's $175. So
Yeah.
like, and you just take like baby steps to get over like what you want. Um, like for example, like this morning I went out and I did a DoorDash, and like I decided like that this last shoot that I shot over the weekend, they sent out the script over phone. So I was like, okay, so you're a little late on the script. I understand you were out late, that kind of thing. But I got tired of like going through my phone to find the email like of the script in between takes. So I just bought a little piece off of Amazon for like $30 that connects to the top of my camcorder, like a shoe mount to like a phone adapter, just so I can be prepared on this the second part of this shoot on Saturday. But that was like just two little door dashes, and I got that. So baby steps wins the race.
Yeah. Then that is something that like it's definitely Tommy, what's up? It is that's definitely admirable. I mean, you're working, you're doing whatever it takes to get your movies done.
Mhm.
And I'm sure at some point you want to get to that point where your movies are helping funding your more movies to make more movies, right? Is that
Yes, I mean like it's to me I like mentally haven't quite grasped with the little like idea because usually when I get done with the film, it's like okay, let's do the same process over again. But I know there's better methods to go about it.
right? Yeah. So with time frame, like it seems because it took you a while to make that first one, but it seems like your other projects you've been cranking them out in a lot less time. I
Oh
feel like.
yes, because like I said, the first film it was primarily between 2008 to 2011 where we did like 80% of filming,
Hmm.
and then like before that and after that was like before it was like friends having fun like with airsoft guns, and after it was just like a couple of scenes that I was like, hey, if I tweak this and put this in, this would make this feel a lot better. So that's really what it was. So I mean, like with Mission Apocalypse, I mean, like we filmed part one and part two because it's two movies within 3 years. To me, that's
Wow.
good, and the whole film is like 3 hours altogether. So we
Wow.
cranked that one out pretty good. Harlequin of Darkness was even shorter than that. That was just 6 months. So we can actually like do things like fast and so forth. But when it comes to like one where I feel like I need to like go the extra mile because it's the one I'm most passionate about and the characters I created, and that one I'm going to spend a lot more time on. So it just, you're always going to feel like if you're really passionate about a project, you will like dive everything into it. When I dive into it, I just go crazy with it.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I know, is it a pretty much a hard out at 4 for you? Because I know I want to respect your time and everything like that. You
Oh
said
no,
you
no,
had
no,
till
it's not a
4.
hard four. I can push it back. Let's say.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Because yeah, there's a bit more to talk about. And first off, because with these movies, Mission Apocalypse, where can people watch them?
Mission Apocalypse is on a Louisiana film channel. So you can actually go to Google and actually find it. I know
Okay.
that a executive producer friend of mine actually set it up there because that's where he was from, and what I think you have to pay to see it for like $3 or so. But I'm probably going to see if I can push that in other places to see it. But that's like the one that's actually up right now.
Okay.
But yeah, you can find that like on Google. It's just Mission Apocalypse.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Definitely, guys, check it out and support it. I want to watch it as well. But yeah, so with your next projects, you got the short film going on, but you got like the Michael Myers fan film. That sounds cool. And then what about your next projects? And what do you have in mind for them?
Well, okay, you're gonna think I'm crazy.
Don't worry, I already do. So don't worry. No.
Okay, so I made
all us filmmakers are crazy, by the way.
I know. So I made WHITEFIRE.
Yes.
And then now we're like 80% the way through Backfire, which is the sequel.
Okay.
And then since I got the same crew and they're all awesome, we want to make a third film called Crossfire.
Okay, great.
So I always imagined it to be a trilogy, but that's my next film I want to do after that. Like when all the everybody's young and hot and that kind of thing. So it's like, because a lot of my crew, it's like, I'm this is the problem I'm having. I'm getting older, and this is the problem. When I do a new film, this is what happens. I get older and the girls get prettier. That's the problem that happens. So I can only like do this universe for a little more time, like longer. So I want to pick up that film, if anything else. Then I'll see if I can start doing like video game movies or something like that. I did pitch to my wife that I wanted to make a kind of like a project where like everybody's fandoms just comes together in like one like little series on YouTube, like where it's like it's Doctor Who encountering Catwoman from Dark Knight Rises, and then they find Pikachu or something like that.
Oh wow!
But I don't know if because like when it comes to original characters, people don't really resonate with that so much unless they see the film like, oh cool, now I'm a fan of that. But if they see like for example, a Batman film, like, oh yeah, there's a giant fan base for that because that's already established. So it's hard to actually like establish something for the first time and so forth.
Oh, not sure what happened. That was weird. Yeah, I don't know what happened. We're back. Yeah, that is interesting, and that is something I would say that like if I was smarter or try to take it more strategic, it would, I would do like parodies or do like fan films where that would actually get more views, like kindling wise or something like that, and then you could really showcase your talent making your own, version of a Batman or Spider-Man or something like that, right?
I mean, because like this character, like, by the way, there's a character in my film where he turns the characters into action figures and then sends them into this labyrinth idea. So this is my character that I have to play like most of the time.
Oh, awesome! Oh, nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Obviously, like I got other characters, but yeah, it's like I got a bunch of these. Like,
nice! I like that one. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The actress, like the thing she looks like a Playboy bunny. I keep telling her now. but yeah.
Why do you say no? Is it just like the married man in you, or you're just
no? Because like what it is like I got we kind of got in this fantasy film I've created, we got a female dynamic duo between, what is it? This character, you can see her.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh nice.
Okay, and basically she has a sidekick called Rabbitata, in other words.
Okay.
And this one's kind of flirtatious and so forth in the film, so she likes to tell everybody that I look like a Playboy bunny. I keep saying, no, I drew you up. You're not supposed to be that, but that rabbits is what you resonate with as your spirit animal.
Yeah, right. Naturally.
So it's so yeah, I had a bunch of these made because for that reason, because this whole like turning the characters into action figures, but it could also be a lightning rod for like Comic-Con and so forth. But it falls underneath the realm of like, well, I was like, well, I can have a toy line with my figures. I could have a comic book. I can go graphic novel route, that kind of stuff, by taking stills like out of my footage and basically run it through Photoshop. I mean, there's a lot of apps that turn yourself into cartoons, so it's not a bad idea.
That's a great idea. That's something that I've wanted to do at some point with my characters and stuff like that, or video games would be amazing. Make video games out of a movie you make. I mean, how cool would that be? You know.
Let's see. My friend Alvin actually has that capability to actually like make a game from scratch. And I always want to take him up on him because I would love to say, "Hey, Alvin, I got these characters. Make a side-scrolling beat 'em up."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, Watchmen came out and did that. Like when that movie's been released, there was this internet movie called Minutemen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they've done it that way too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing though. It's like you're creating your own fans, and like yeah, okay, maybe it's a lot longer road to do that route, or but I think maybe if you're on the side doing stuff like like the Michael Myers fan film or something like that, where a lot of audiences that already have big fan bases can see your talent and they're like, oh wait, what else has this guy done? Oh, he's done some like cool things, and like that is something where you can build your own fan base, and then from there, that's where you get these loyal fans that would love to read the graphic novel, love to buy the action figure, merchandise. I thought about that. Yeah,
like after YouTube, where you're making like, for example, a Wolverine series, and then as you grow a fan base for that, you also put up something original.
Yeah, totally. There's some like musician friends of mine that are really talented, and some that started off doing covers. They do really well because they'll do a cover. If they play the violin, for example, and they play it really well, then like the cover blows up. But then you build on and do your own original music, and maybe the original music doesn't initially get that big push as like a big, cover of a huge song. But that's how they could really build their career.
Yeah, I get that. I feel that music is so underappreciated in Hollywood. That is one thing that I see commonly throughout a lot of projects that people make nowadays. Is like nobody really puts that extra oomph in the music anymore. So I think that always thought video game music always had the best music out there. When you think about it, and that always astounded me. Like how come Hollywood they do good, like they do make some good catchy tunes, but they don't make really iconic themes anymore.
No, you're right.
All the ones we like are from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, dude, and also another thing is like one-liners. I feel like one-liners have kind of gone by the wayside. Like people rarely quote like new. At least I've rarely see anyone quote brand new movies or something.
Yeah.
Or right? Or they and the similar thing where they don't have an original soundtrack, they're not actually going to be singing it. Like everyone knows like Star Wars. If you just sing the first few notes. Star Trek, Harry Potter. I mean, most of them happen to be made by John Williams, but Alex Walker Smith, who we worked with for Rideshare, he developed my friend TJ made the theme, and that has a really catchy theme. And then Alex Walker Smith took the music And that is something that like didn't want to skimp out on, because I know the score of the original track is something that is really important, especially just the feel to the tone of the movie and everything like that. And then we brought Alex Walker Smith back, kind of did a very similar thing for Simp, where TJ made, or no, actually, my friend D Sharp made, what am I talking about? D Sharp made the theme song. Do, 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 you know, and it gets stuck in your head really quickly, but it's like a strings, very organic type, kind of Hitchcockian type Psycho-esque type feel, Vertigo, you know. And then Alex Walker Smith took that and expanded on it and did that with the score of this film. So so it's awesome. So that's something I'm looking at actively doing, especially knowing like how important the score is to a movie, and whether it's just, you know, it's especially something like that where you could create your own original thing. And then also, like, if there's other bands or musicians that you know, you can put their songs in the movie, and that could help them and help their career as well.
Yeah, I got put into a couple of those times where actually I had some bands like say, okay, we're gonna put your music in here, no problem. But at the same time, it's like music is something that you feel rather than something that you just hear. So it's like if it's not feeling or resonating, then that's kind of the big thing. But I guess like one of the better examples that I've had, like, you know, in my films was like I was scrolling through music, like, you know, like royalty free stuff. For the most part, it works, but it doesn't quite resonate to the level that I like. But there was this one time I found like this perfect track, like it came from a website called Purple Planet Music or something like that, and like it was like the main score of like Mission Apocalypse, and I loved it so much because like it actually had a lot of dynamic. It actually felt iconic. I used it in multiple parts in the film, and everybody loved it. Like when I showed it at the premiere, so I got lucky there. With WHITEFIRE, with all the copyright stuff I put into it, I actually did have a lot of written original music in there too that my mom did.
Oh,
and,
cool.
My mom is a pianist, and she actually brought out the keyboard, and then she got a singer, and then, like, you know, we went into studio time, and she recorded like a main theme in the style of like an early James Bond film.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Yeah, so that was cool. So basically, there is a song called "WHITEFIRE," that kind of stuff.
So it sounds like an 80s action type, like or like action movie, or
you know, I every time
like rock and roll.
Every time I tell people this, I tell them WHITEFIRE is a mix between The Count of Monte Cristo, Tropic Thunder, and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, that's quite the trio combo.
Yeah, so that's the closest thing I can like tell people about it. Like, you know, as far as like, you know, what it feels like to them, but it's really like low budget. It's micro budget, I would say. But it has a lot of killing, a lot of action, that kind of stuff. And we just got addicted in doing that for the longest time. And we just put a story behind it, and it became done one day. But yeah, I did a lot of artistic stuff in there too. I'm actually very proud of.
That's awesome. So when you were growing up, or were you always like, I want to make movies, I want to be a filmmaker? Or was that something you always had?
It wasn't until I got hit in the head by a piece of tar where it finally hit me. Wow. And that was the very first day of filming. But before that
made you want to do films. That didn't that didn't deter you.
No, before that, I actually wanted to design video games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up like, you know, with the ideas like, hey, I want to go and design video games. But as I was going through high school, it's like, you know, I was painting a different picture in my head, because I guess I saw like some sort of show like a long time ago where people are just working on like a trash can or a background and that kind of stuff, and not working on the whole piece. I wanted to like be in charge of my own thing. So in graphic design class in high school, like I drew like and made a bunch of characters. I had like this binder full of like characters that I've made, and ironically enough, all those characters I brought into my films.
Oh, that's cool.
Like some people were like, it's like, hey, this looks like this character from this. I was like, well, yeah, that was an inspiration. Or like, if you got this character that looks really Asian and he has like a gigantic bunch of guns for an arm, like, yeah, that's what I was into. But yeah, that's I say my first film is very fantasy oriented because of all the characters I put into it and all the whimsical action I did. Because in the middle of the film, like, all the characters get warped inside a clock, and every 2 minutes, they fight a different character and a different character and a different character trying to get to this magic MacGuffin. So it gets really whimsical and that kind of stuff. But I was trying to do more creative stuff behind a green screen and that, but I had a lot of scenes where we're just running around the woods killing each other.
Wow. That is awesome. In the time when there were a lot of film like kids or people that wanted to make movies and they were making movies, and 95% of them were making like depressing dramas,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the other 5, like I was making like comedy, like horror, like comedy or suspense or horror,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anyone was making like action movies. I don't think anyone was that ambitious enough to even like dare or to do it. Or a lot of people that wanted to make the dramas were like, oh, comedy's hard. I'm just going to try to make you cry in 3 minutes instead, and I'm like, the drama is 100 times harder than anything. You know what I mean? I think with the horror, at least you have the gimmick, or action, you've got cool things happening, and I like that you went for that approach, because a lot of the film majors were like wanted to make this art, and it's all about a guy and who's crying over his long lost lover and and
I understand how that goes and how people would go that route. I mean, I usually do see a lot of people make like depressing dramas, like you say, and I wonder why. Because like it's so much more fun when you make something like really, really unique and more like outlandish and so forth. I played 24 characters in Whitefire. I know. I was biting off a lot, but the thing, my rule for that was if I'm going to play all these characters, I don't want anybody to recognize who I am, like from any one of them. So a lot of these characters wore like different masks, face coverings, that kind of stuff. But the 2 characters that you can kind of tell that's me. One has like a orange and black face with very like, Alice Cooper kind of a look, and then the other one is obviously my main character that actually has my face. But and the interesting about them is that they're both very polar, opposite personalities. It's like one is like really dark and brooding and angry all the time, which I had a lot of fun. So I actually got release a lot of positive anger like through that character. Actually, it's helped me out get through like some relationships I was going through back then. But my other character, which is he's a clown, of course. He's this guy right here. I'm gonna bring him back out. I don't know if you see him somewhere.
Oh wow!
And then this guy comes off very comedic, very, very comedic, because I actually have this voice that I use for him. Let's see if I can do it right now. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill you all! You son of a bitch! So it's like I use that like for the character, and then like he's running around with the other characters like interacting, and every time I do it, I'm like everybody's like cracking up every time we do a cut, because like we're loud, we're being crazy, and we're just going like off of pure like mayhem and adrenaline. So it's my wife says like in my spare time I act like him like all the time.
Really?
So,
Well,
yes.
I think a lot of it can be inspired by us, or like I think the beauty about acting is that you can act in a way that you never would act in real life normally or any normal situation, but it is something that or maybe you and I would or whatever, but but it is that it becomes that kind of therapeutic release. But okay, but when you're playing 24 characters, right? You wrote the movie, you're directing the movie too. And
Yeah.
what was that like? Like with people asking you questions and you got to memorize your lines and all this stuff.
Let's see here. When you play 24 characters, it's a lot of costume changes and a lot of laundry.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the lines, now that was an interesting thing, because if I played a different character, I didn't always do the lines. I would just do the character and the body language, and then I would come up and I would approach a voiceover actor about playing this character. So
Oh,
it actually wasn't a completely different character altogether. Like, yes, I played the body of the character. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes it was someone else, because I had to be over here playing this other character. So there was days where, like, where we actually had to do several costume changes. A lot of days doing that, and then where we had to, like, have spare costumes in place where we can just make a really crazy scene for 4 hours and like have like 8 or 9 characters involved. But it was bringing in voiceover actors and make them sound like they're distinct to their own character. Like, when you hear this person's voice, you think it's this new person. You don't think it's me playing that character.
right.
I mean, like, there was one time, now I hope that Facebook doesn't misinterpret this, but I actually had to play a woman character once. So that was
Okay.
fun. So I actually had to buy all the pieces and so forth, make myself look like a woman. And because like it was funny, because like I did like little girly little hand gestures and the whole thing, and it was hilarious because like she actually wielded a really huge mallet, like I made out of wood shop, and she beat the heck out of another one of my friends. And so I actually had the strength to pull that off. And at the time, I was really skinny. I mean, like I was like under like 150 pounds, but I was tall. Nowadays, I'm like obviously 200-pound range, but I'm more filled out. So I actually had to cast a girl to play that character. But it was fun to play her and so forth. That character's name was Spade. I'm probably not going to bring that one back unless I cast a girl to play her. But we killed her in that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
But with all these characters, I haven't really done it so much in recent films where I did that trick, because of the amount of costumes that would get like dirty, and you have to go home and wash everything, and dry cleaning bills, and that kind of stuff. But I do cast people for like these roles, like more filled out, so it's fun.
Yeah. So when you're planning out your projects, are you, especially with Whitefire, where it was like the bulk of it was spanned over 3 years. So were you just kind of planning it out like any weekend type thing or day that anyone could get together and do it?
We made a lot of mistakes in Whitefire.
Okay.
It was going in. Let's just film for the heck of it and see what we get. And then
Oh, wow.
and I knew what we were getting on these other shoots that where I'm connecting the pieces together. Nobody should actually do that, because if you're doing that, then you're making a longer project than what you're making. In my case, 6.5 hours. But as we were going, I did have a guide, like a really detailed guide of what I wanted, because I guess I got in the mindset that it's better to go in with have like a guide of ideas that you like, and go to a film shoot and just let the creative juices flow and see what new ideas you come up with. That was my philosophy back then, and we got a lot of creative stuff that way. But the problem with it is it's not like you're not sticking to like a 180-page script. So then that's what we did. Nowadays we don't do that.
Right.
But we actually stick to the scripts. We with Mission Apocalypse, my friend actually gave me a script because we talked about it over in Whitefire, and he had like the whole script, and we stuck to that. And then when we came to make part 2, we we talked about like a really good skeleton for part 2 that I actually had more collaboration on, and then we wrote the whole thing, and then we added in like maybe 1 or 2 scenes that would better adjust like some of these characters. So yeah, that was a better process. But even with my new film, it's like we actually did the have 2/3 of it done before we started shooting. So we didn't completely finish that script, but we started filming at 2/3, which they say to do not to do nowadays.
You know, it's funny. Even like big time Hollywood movies. I heard the first Iron Man didn't have a finished script, and they started shooting it
Yeah,
like back in the day. Yeah, like there are hundreds of millions of dollars on the line for this movie, and they're not even done with the darn script yet, and they're filming it. Like that boggles my mind. That boggles my mind so
well,
much.
they did that with Dark Phoenix, the X-Men Dark Phoenix too.
Oh
Two
wow.
thirds. They started it at 2/3 of the way done. Even when they were filming scenes, they were changing script ideas, like on the spot, and then and they were rewriting lines. And I'm like, and that I think it was Dark Phoenix that really taught me that lesson. It was like, like you have to try to have a finished script.
Yeah,
But
because it's like you can't polish what's not even there, you know? So it's like every script is like, I always say nothing's written, it's just rewritten. So, you know, you get it better in the rewrite.
my
Um,
probably my worst regret with Whitefire is recasting the lead heroine 12 times.
what? Oh, okay. How does that happen?
Ugh. Okay. Okay.
Hey, this is the fun stuff. Okay.
This is a horror story. I mean, like,
Oh,
um, it's okay. So I made this character that, like one of my drawings was about like a female, kind of what Phantom of the Opera character, like in a way. And that's what it looked like, and I was really proud of the drawing and so forth. But then I changed the idea for it to be more of a like a woodsy kind of character. So I got inspired by a famous painter by the name of Louis Royo, and I liked some of his drawings because I liked drawing like a lot of women characters in this binder I noticed. So I made this character called the Masked Huntress, with green cloak, mask, brunette, and then like, red lipstick, bow and arrow, sword, the whole thing, kind of like a female Legolas in a way, only with a
okay.
mask.
Okay.
And I probably pitched it to about 5 different women, and they all fell apart in pre-production somewhere. And then on the sixth one, we actually got to the point of buying the costume for her, and I actually got one scene filmed with her, and then she turned to drugs and quit, but she gave
Oh,
us the book.
gosh. Oh,
The
shoot.
next girl we casted ended up being a very problem to some other guys on set, but we filmed like 8 scenes with her. And I'm like, okay. She looked the most like the character. I'm actually grateful that I actually got this character off the ground for 8 scenes. I think it was like 10 or 12 actually, but then she like got into another relationship. A lot of drama happened, so we cut her loose. So and then I casted another girl to play the role, which I got 6 scenes done with her, and then she got pregnant. And I'm
By
like,
someone by someone on set, or no, someone
and
else?
everybody on this film was telling me just write it into the character. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So and so when that happened, I'm at this point I'm like just at my wits end because I filmed all these scenes that I have to refilm for a third time because
Oh
of
gosh.
this actor's falling out. But this, keep in mind, this is like 4 years, 3 or 4 years, after high school. So at the Halloween store when I was working at, I found this gorgeous girl, absolutely freaking gorgeous, and we offered the part to her, and her basically her boyfriend, now husband, at the time wanted to be her manager for this project.
Oh, great.
And,
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Not. Yeah.
it was drama, but you know what? She ended up doing 99% of that role, 99%. And I actually got the character like from point A to point Z and all the way done. The only thing she wouldn't do is a kiss on screen, but I can get around that. So I had
Okay.
to actually have to recruit my ex girlfriend to actually play that part, and then just put on her outfit and just do that part, so I can say that character's done. But yeah, out of that whole time, it was 12 times.
Oh my gosh.
It,
Wow.
it, it was terrible because I feel like I lost 2 to 3 years of my life just redoing scenes.
What would have been really funny is if you just like roll with the punches and never acknowledge that it's a completely different person and just kept the character there, you know?
That is still on the table till this day because we kind of made her a Doctor Who character where she could regenerate. I
There
mean,
you go.
because
See?
like this character, I mean, like she's the lead heroine character, and I actually loved this character that much to go through this pain and agony with. So I definitely like kept her in the script because I loved the character that much. So even in my new film Backfire, I did recast the girl, but I got someone absolutely amazing to play her, and I wish I had her so many years ago. So, but I never had a cat recast her once, and I'm actually very very grateful. I mean, like I pay her to do all the 9 yards, make sure she's happy, and like she's just really cool to work with. But with Whitefire, it was I guess I was just really young, and nobody takes you seriously when you're making a film when shooting on like a little dinky camera, which that's part of it. But
Right.
but even so, it's like I do bring up a smaller camera, like this one from times, like
Okay.
and
Oh,
like
nice.
little mini DV, like well, not me. Oh no, a little HD camera and so forth that we do for like the action scenes, and it works. Yeah, go ahead and turn it on. Yeah, yeah, a little bit of light.
Oh, there you go. Let there be light. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Unplug these ones in too. But yeah, I'll let you talk.
Yeah. Um, yeah. What type of advice would you give someone that would be looking at making their first film based on your successes and or mistakes, everything, successes, everything?
Well, well, failure is the greatest teacher, but you never really fail unless you give up, and I never gave up. So, um, I would say just write down everything that you know you want and research ways how to get there, and don't let anybody tell you. Don't take no for an answer. I mean, like you can bend with some ideas, but if you're passionate about it, you can do anything. Because this is my universe that I've created, I'm always going to be looking at this as my baby. I'm always going to love this because like you're the most passionate about your own projects. If you do someone else's project, you're not going to be as passionate about it, but it's going to be more technical than anything else. So for them, I would just say just keep doing it. Um, don't use anything copyrighted.
Yeah.
Um, uh, get around people that are creative, just like you, that help you like, with your vision. Because there's a lot of people out there that love to make films. I mean, like one crazy thing I did in Whitefire that I'm still proud of to this day. I I casted, uh, I guess it's like 43 brunette girls in like one scene because one of the characters had a corporation full of brunette women, and
Of course. Okay.
that why not? And they all keep
Yeah.
like kicked up a bunch of terrorists like like asses in a jungle. I mean like and they all loved doing it. I mean like everybody that I worked with, like I said, they loved like just get out there and do some acting and do some like exercise and that kind of stuff. And I asked him, was like, what was your favorite, part about this film shoot? It's like, oh yeah, just getting to the fact that we're doing filming and I'm doing fight moves and I'm chopping this guy's heads off or throwing a dagger in his groin or something like that. Or yeah,
Yeah. So being in San Diego, and not being in Hollywood, how do you go about casting your projects typically?
casting was probably like the easiest thing I had to do because I went through Facebook Messenger groups, not message groups, San Diego actors. I put out a
Hmm.
post. It's like, hey, I'm casting for this. This is what this is. Non-union, San Diego. Filming from this time to this time. We're going to meet at the Denny's over here. Then we're going to go film. Message me if you're interested. And then it turns into like a actor submission idea. So I run into people on different sets. I run into people at conventions. Um, Pretty much all over. And lead actress that I met her at a Halloween store. So it's like, for the most part, this it's best to go in a crowd of people on social media, and then put like a post there for it. For my new film, I went to backstage for a couple of
Oh,
people,
interesting. Okay.
and then you really gotta feel the person out, like, and kind of like see if like how much they're going to commit to, or what they're down for, and just be completely honest with them. Because like there are people out there that are fickle, there are people out there that will that can stand you up, and there's people out there who are absolutely amazing, and they'll and be with you thick and thin. But you got to be out there to actually find them on social media for the most part.
Yeah. So when you find them and you have them on social media, then there's another thing is meeting them and then sussing them out, right? Do you typically suss them out a little bit before you start filming, or do you suss them out?
What I do is like I put up the casting thing, the casting notice online, and then I talk to them over Messenger, and that's like step one. Because the last thing I want people to think of me as is like some porn director good and have ulterior motives, because everybody thinks you're making a porno in Hollywood.
Of course, of course.
So it's like
they always make the joke. Oh, you doing porno?
But I just like at that point I'm just open and honest with them, and then it turns into me talking to them over the phone about all this, and then what I'll do is, like, especially with some of my bigger scenes where it has a lot of people, I'll put them into a messenger group where it's like where we're all talking with each other, so they can kind of meet and kind of understand everybody's roles and that kind of stuff, and it helps them out because it'll be a refreshing experience for them if they know someone in their group, or if they like see your history of previous works that you've done, or word of mouth if you've met them like at someplace else. So it's always helpful to do that. When I usually see what they look like in their headshots and in their reels. But I got to hear what they sound like too, that kind of thing. So if I actually have a pretty good idea about what this person is going to sound like and how they're going to act, I'll actually will build a character around them sometimes. For example, there was this girl that I casted about 2 months ago. I had her be like a nurse, and I liked her so much that I decided to build one of my own custom characters around her. So I wanted her to be able to be like a cyborg, black bunny with a chainsaw with Terminator elements. And she was like, she's like, heck yes, I want to do that. And then like I put it on her, we did the scene, and then everything worked out perfectly. And now she's gonna be like a long-term friend.
Wow.
So I have a lot of fun with that stuff. I do bring back people from my previous shoots and everything, and people from WHITEFIRE are still around, like doing parts. A lot of them are glorified cameos because stuff happens between early 2000s to now, obviously.
Right.
But there are people who do stick around, and then before, and I do call them back. It's like, hey, I got this. You want to do this? That's
cool. That's awesome. So tell me about a couple of your times when you faced an adversity on set, and what you did to overcome it.
Let's see here. I got an actor who's like the black sheep of all my friends. I mean, like this guy's reputation I heard of first before I met him. It was that bad. So, like, I have this friend, his name is Brian, and he gets himself in trouble everywhere he goes because he's a total full-on man whore. So he gets. Oh, it's true. That's what he is. Brian, if you're watching, you're a man whore. Deal with it.
Oh yeah, good. I mean, there's worse things to be called, I guess.
Well, my cast is probably called them those worst things. Let's see. But Brian is like, I kept him around because he has a big heart for filmmaking himself. But like when he ever did a stunt and people were beating the crap out of him, I didn't feel bad, so it worked out. So I guess like there was times where Brian would get himself into trouble, and what I would do was just pull party one and party two aside and talk to them individually, and just calm them both down, and then have them talk to each other, and go from there. So yeah, Brian actually got slapped like 3 or 4 months ago, but by I guess it was like a leather sheath that we had custom made because Brian was being a little bit rude. When Brian got slapped, he got all offended, and the guy was like, "No, he deserved it." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you're right, but let me talk to you both."
Right.
So yes, you find people that don't like to work with each other at times. So you just got to film them on different days. For example, it's kind of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Vin Diesel. I ran into those kind of situations. Let's see here. What are other problems I had on my sets? Oh no, I don't know if that really counts or not. We have cops who can come up to a lot of our sets because we have a lot of weapons on us. Because if you see my garage, it's like 300 to 400 plus weapons in there. It's ridiculous. So whenever I talk to the police, I'll talk to them over dispatch. It's like, hey, we're filming from this time to this time. We have airsoft guns and we have real steel swords. We're going to be filming. Don't shoot us. In other words.
Oh wow! So you always call it. So you call the police department and give them a heads up.
Yeah, in San Diego, that's been what I've been doing for years. I call up the police in the area that we're in. And I talk to a dispatch, and I let them know who I am, what I'm doing, how they can reach me, and what time I'm doing it from. And then the cops that they send out word that Michael Mason is filming over here with looking like this with these fake weapons and so forth. I had to do that every single time. The only time where it backfires is on the beach because the beach is a different jurisdiction and they're a lot more stricter when you film something on the beach. So I don't know what it's like in LA. I'm sure you'll probably need the permits up the wazoo up there. But
yeah.
Down here you can get away with murder.
Yeah. Yeah. LA is they're very savvy with everything, even like any high school or any like park or any, store or beach area. They're usually pretty kind of quick, but you can be sly like rideshare. I got the permits for rideshare. We filmed all at night. We happen to film all at night. So that helps too.
Yeah. I saw your rideshare and what you did with the angle wise. A lot of it took place on the inside of a car.
True. Yeah. So that's actually not false. So we had a permit for the car location, so like, we're inside the car. We have permission from the owner who happened to be the lead actor.
Yeah. And once the footage is in the can, who cares?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, setting someone on fire under a bridge. That was crazy. But yeah, that's another thing. So safety, like you're doing an action film, you're dealing with like steel swords and stuff. Have you had any close calls, any injuries, other than like the first day on set when you had the rock?
Oh yeah. Okay, this is a horror story.
Oh
okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, I got a lot of horror stories. I mean, like the more I talk, the more I bring them out. Let's see. I told you about the first one where the rock hit me in the top of the head. Let's see. I got hit by a car. Got hit several times.
Wait, you said that so casually. You got hit by a car?
Yeah, I got hit by a car. The car thought I was going to move, and I thought he was going to move, so we canceled each other out, and I went on top of the hood.
Whoa! Oh my
yeah.
God. Was it?
So
was this on film?
Yeah, it's on film.
Oh, great! Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. So it worked out. Nice, I made that person buy me pizza afterwards, but yeah, I went on top of the hood, but he wasn't going that fast. It was only like 40 miles an hour.
Dang, that's still pretty fast.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like it's like it surprisingly didn't hurt that bad. I was surprised. Like usually I thought getting hit by a car would be a lot worse, but since I got lifted off the hood and like I got like some scraping on it on my wrist and so forth. But let's see, I got nailed in the head with a katana. That hurt. I actually got a scar on my forehead right here. My nose is broke. If you look, it's broke right here because of a punch like this. The pop was so realistic that I didn't need to put in a Foley sound in the editing room. So,
wow.
Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Tell me your question again, because I think there was one. Oh wait, never mind. I remember. What happened one time? We were doing like these cops that were breaking into an apartment, and they were apprehending a woman. This woman was a model.
Okay.
And one of the guys was supposed to do like with the butt of his gun, go gun like this, with a safe distance. So what ended up happening is with the girl actually, when the guys were restraining her in the back, she squirmed out of it and went forward, and she had her nose broke.
Ouch.
And she got mad and wanted, and basically was threatening us money wise and everything. And this was another problem that we did. We didn't have a release on her just yet.
Oh no.
So it became a big problem because this is like one of their earlier projects, and we usually have releases on everybody nowadays. But for her, it was it was a conflict of interest at this point. Her nose healed; she's better now. But this person that we worked with, we don't want to work with again because she's. I guess there was a level of substance abuse, and she didn't tell us everything. For example, she was going to do a fight scene with us. We were going to do a fight scene, but 3 days before that, she got into a car accident where she rolled her van 3 times. But when she came to the sets, she blamed her neck injuries on the fighting when it really was her rolling the van. So we talked it out since then, got better, but in the end, everything was dropped, and we realized that friendship was more important than this added drama. But that particular project, it's like there came a point where I stopped it for a period of time. So that was drama.
Well, that's a scare. I mean, that is something that you probably learned real quick, how to cover your ass, and like the one time you don't have the release happens to be the one person that doesn't.
When you're young, you make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, anyone out there, especially if you're doing a movie, you have to have some kind of formal release form because you never know, like anything could go sour for any reason. Could be your fault, could be their fault, doesn't matter.
Because every project we had after that has been smooth. I mean, like if I were to tell you like the stuff that happens in like the projects we have nowadays, and everything just flows right. Everybody loves working with each other. Having a cohesive group of people to work with that you love to be with, it is like the best thing you can have on your film set and so forth. So like if you have like a tight knit group, that's my advice to that person. Starting for the first time, try to find that group.
Yeah. So who is it? Like you have a group, or I'm guessing you have a DP sound person, or are you shooting a lot of the stuff? Or?
I mean, I have a big group. I got an engineer that makes stuff. I got a assistant director that's sharp as a whip, a cat o' nine tails whip.
Sharp as a tack. I don't know.
Yeah,
cracks the whip.
I got a lot of good people underneath me. I got a stunt guy. I got a lot of great actors. I love to work with. I got people who are eager to be behind the camera, But my thing is I've been my strength is cinematography and editing.
Mhm.
So I'm usually behind the camera a lot, but I need to focus on directing more. So I'm actually trying to groom people who like to do more camera stuff. Hence why I keep like like handing them the camera and I have a transmitter with monitor. But but yeah, I have a good group down here, and I'm actually like very proud of each and every one of them. And I think this is probably like the better days of my life because it's
Yeah.
just and it's just and they're a completely different beast than what I had before, because before it was like me and maybe like one other friend, all like doing everything, so forth. And I basically had to learn everything on a crash course. So I was a jack of all trades. Nowadays, it's like I know how to do every job, but I delegate it and so forth. So it's
Yeah. That's a big thing. I think a lot of filmmakers, they, especially when they get pretty good at it, but they don't want to let go of the reins. They don't want to say, "Oh, well, I might as well do it," or but the project ends up suffering versus someone that is like, "Oh, hey, you know what? There's one person that I know is a really good DP. That's all he does. Have him do it. I could help set the shot up or, work with the shot list with him." Right.
yeah.
But
I mean, like it's a lot of times my I have this my friend Shannon like criticizes me of this all the time, that I don't like using storyboards. And I can draw really really well,
oh, wow. Yeah.
and but but I for me to have the time with the storyboard and write it out, I don't need it, because I know I see all the shots in my head, and it's especially if I'm being DP right here. It's like I will go and just get those shots and go for it. But but on this next shoot, she says, "Okay, I want to see what the storyboard looks like." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I started drawing them out, and they're like super detailed.
Wow, that's cool. Like I'm opposite. My storyboards were like they were cartoons. It was so bad. It was just
Stick
like
figures, right?
yeah, well, a little bit more advanced than stick figures. They had like somewhat of a body. But
The
yeah,
I mean, like the only time when I feel like I'm really going to need those is when I'm making something super complex.
yeah.
Um, for example, I went out to Arizona like I guess like last year, and I was filming a tank scene. So
Oh
I have
wow, a
a
tank.
friend yeah, I got a friend named
Wow.
Gary Harper, who used to be in the film industry. He owns a tank on his property.
Oh great. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
Dang.
so I got to drive a tank, and it was fun. So so uh, it was my character. Like I brought like the costumes I needed. Went out there, got my Giordano's pizza, and had my lemonade, and got down there and just got into filming with this whole thing. Um, and I ended up like casting like people out there in Arizona, just so I can go and get this whole scene done, because it required people to I had to fight with and so forth, and it was a lot of fun. And later in the editing room, it's like I had to stick to these storyboards because of the amount of time per shot that I have to work on each shot. Because what happened with the tank is like the tank ran for a little bit, but it stopped. So I actually had to animate those big wheels on it.
Oh wow.
So I really don't want to spend more time going through After Effects and editing for something like that. That's kind of tedious.
Right. Right. All right, so Lisa says that's a scary thing. Scared to think about driving a tank. It sounds like it would be fun.
Actually, it's a lot of fun. Like it's just like if you have someone there that that knows how to drive it, and then you just take it slow, like baby steps. One thing I will say for your friend Lisa, hi Lisa, um, is they're very claustrophobic in a
I
tank.
was just about to say, what is it inside?
Claustrophobic. I mean, like someone puts a grenade in there, there's nowhere to go, and you are dead. I mean, like
Oh, is it
it's
room for one or two? Room for two or just one? How many?
4 or 5.
Four or five.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but the thing is, everything's rigid and very cramped. I hit my head in there like 5 or 6 times, like within that 4 hour thing because everything's just like so close to you and metal. You have to wear a helmet to be in there. But me, with my outfit on, like I'm not wearing a helmet. I'm just wearing a big, thick leather jacket with a couple of revolvers.
Yeah.
So,
and is there air in there? Like, do you have a fan, or is there like, is it just stuffy?
It's a World War II tank. They didn't have a lot of amenities. You can't exactly have a lot in there, but I mean, like that. There's two hatches on there, and that so there's air circulating, that kind of stuff. But trying to with the costumes I make, they're very big and so forth. So with this leather jacket, this leather jacket right here, it's thick leather. I try to get in there, and actually have a little holster, on like Western holster, and that kind of stuff. It's hard to get in there with that big of a costume. So I had to take off my jacket, get in a position, squeeze on everything, just to get a shot and so forth. Because these tanks were built for guys with like wearing jumpsuits and a helmet.
Yeah.
So
so you had camera, sound in there, and then
sound in that regard, I had a dub later.
Okay. So you did it.
Yeah. So basically, it's if I set a line, it's basically I'm just gonna take the boom mic at home and just get that line. So because you need to have perfect audio, and if I don't have perfect audio, I'm just gonna ADR it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I love that tank scene, but it's just it just falls into the category of going big or go home with it.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and then getting an outside. I'm sure you got a lot of outside shots too with the drone. Oh man,
outside shots, top shots, a lot of green screen and blue screen shots.
Really, with the tank?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because when it was stationed in place, I'm only the one who's driving it.
Yeah.
So I basically had to just get shots where I'm actually getting out of it, with the grenade launcher, shooting a guy down below before he throws a grenade in. So there's a lot of different shots that I do with After Effects that I have to make it look like that's running, that kind of stuff. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, getting that.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. Was that in which film? Was that in?
That's in Backfire. That's the one I'm working on right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. That's exciting.
It's awesome. That one. It's we're probably doing crazier stuff in this film than we've done in the previous film. I mean, we have a tank, we have jets. We'll CGI.
Jets?
CGI.
Okay.
I don't want to go visit an airship base just to get shots and make it look like they were flying, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But when it comes to editing, I do a lot of visual effects, a lot of Adobe Illustrator, Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, the whole 9 yards, Audition, and I'm always buying effect kits whenever I see them. But right now I'm actually trying to teach myself Unreal Engine because I want my own custom backgrounds. But when it comes to visual effects, what is it called? What's it called? There's this site. It's called. I don't remember the site. It was a Video Copilot where they.
Oh yeah, I remember that Andrew Kramer. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Kramer. I think that guy was. Yeah. It really helps out because I got really good at the elements kits and so forth, and I use it a lot for the Star Trek Klingon stuff that I do for Comic-Con. So I try to teach myself as much editing skills as I can. I've been editing ever since 2004 when the very first Adobe Premiere came out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Same here, man. I remember when I was doing Premiere, and people were like, "Oh, you do Premiere? I do Final Cut." Okay, I'm, And then now it's "Oh, you know how to Premiere? You know how to do Premiere? Wow!" So it's completely different. You get big feature films that are working on Premiere.
I've always touched for Premiere. I mean, I tried Final Cut, but I don't like the interface of it so much. So
Yep. Same. Yeah, I didn't like Final Cut. And plus, you had to do all this other crap. random stuff that you don't need to do with Premiere.
Yeah,
Transcoding and
I love Premiere.
yeah, but now a lot of people are using DaVinci Resolve. They're saying that's even better than Premiere. So I don't know about that, but
I never dabbled in that. Like once I found something that works really well, I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix.
Yeah. Yeah. So what type of, so for me, as from one filmmaker to the next, what type of advice would you give me to help my Indiegogo campaign? We've raised 1,000 so far. Any kind of quirky ideas that I could do or should do that would help get the word out there?
Okay. So first off, I got to commend you for reaching $1,000 on your project. So
Thank you. Right.
Okay, you're probably going to think I'm a little bit cynical here, but I had for the longest time I thought Indiegogo, GoFundMe, those projects really worked if you were a celebrity, and then because like if you get a celebrity involved to help, I guess represent your product, then it will take off like crazy. So. Sure. I think that's the magic key. So, I mean, if you got a project that can speak volumes, for example, let's say your project's called Simp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you took Simp and then you put a celebrity in it. Like you spent the $1,000 for a cameo, and then you would also have him show up on your project, like in your Indiegogo in the video, and he would represent your project. So his following would see your project, and basically that would allow you to gain them the extra money that you need. So, you're working your ass off. Speaking, it's like, hey, $5 here, we'll do this, $10 here. I love that tier system's great, but you need a celebrity, and then backing in a way. So that's what I recommend, because that's usually the best way, because I wanted to put celebrities in my projects before, spend like the $1,000 to $2,000 for a cameo in there, but I almost got Corey Feldman in one of my previous projects.
Oh, no way. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I said no to it. I talked to his agent and everything. I had a great talk, but the problem was that I didn't believe in this lead actress in this film. I didn't think her acting was good enough for this, because like she was, like I said, substance abuse. So so I was like, okay, so I nixed the idea, but I put it on the back burner. I want to get Christopher Lloyd in Backfire. That's like my number one goal. I mean, if I can do that, but he's going to be coming out in Mandalorian season 3, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get him.
Oh yeah. There is that app Cameo, the literal, the app Cameo with the website Cameo. Yeah. So my friend got paid for him to do a cameo for his film. So you pay him a bit of money, and then, but it's not really like filming with him. It's like him filming on his phone and saying a few things,
Yeah.
Still pretty cool.
That works too. I mean, like I got I got to tell you this one friend of mine. His name is Surge of Power.
Yes.
This guy is amazing. He has so many cameos in his projects from actors. I keep telling him, you should be on the world records for having the most cameos in a single film. And he just got done with a Doctor Who tribute film, where he actually had like 30, 40 actors from Doctor Who in his project, including doctors.
What?
The fourth Doctor.
What?
He spent $5,000 on getting Tom Baker, Doctor Who, in his project.
Wow.
And he has several other doctors in there too, and the guy's a lawyer in his spare time.
Okay, that helps.
But he's like his Surge of Power trilogy is awesome.
Surge of Power. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he's I got. If you ever see his stuff online, I mean, it's a ride. You'll enjoy it. But yeah, I worked with him. I actually had him do a small part in Backfire, and we've actually did. I took some of my characters and we put it into his project. So we have like our universes connected.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he understands the power of like bringing in like talent from Hollywood into your projects.
Yeah, totally. So for Simp, I mean, it's shot already. Our biggest star that's in it is Raka Ali, who he has I think 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. So he's probably the biggest star there. And then the other one was Mike Markov, who he's just up and he's coming up. He's been in a lot of bigger projects. He was just in a Richard Linklater film. So like, Dazed and Confused guy and whatnot. And he's in a movie with Hangman from Top Gun 2, the new one.
Nice.
Yeah. So
love Top Gun 2. I own it right there.
Oh, it's badass. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I saw it in theaters. Movies are back, baby. So like for you, you have lengthy, but you have action movies. Are you more of like do you want to continue to stay in your lane there, or would you want to do like the big spectacle action movie type thing?
I don't discriminate when it comes to pressing record.
Okay. I mean, I know it's kind of a question I've been asking filmmakers, and this is like honestly, it's a completely rhetorical question because it's like, oh hey, if you were given a bunch of money and resources, would you make a movie? It's like, let's think about this right now. Like, yes, of course.
I already know like what I would shoot. I would love to bring my films to a bigger audiences by remaking it for today's audience and so forth. Well, not like today, but I'm just talking about like I would love to take, let's see, turning it into something you could go to Blockbuster and buy and that kind of stuff.
Heck yeah! Oh yeah!
Like that's professionally made with a big crew and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I would love to actually do that. I mean, like I would love for people to see like a Whitefire on a $100 million budget. But
yeah,
that's like my ultimate goal. Will I ever get there? I don't know, but I'm happy that what I've made here.
Well, that's the thing is like you're continuing to make it. You're not making excuses. You're making movies. Because I'm always like, you can make movies or you can make excuses, but you can't make both, right? So my
wife she says I make excuses to make movies.
You see, there you go. I like that. Make an excuse to make a movie. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, make any excuse to make a movie, and yeah, make an excuse to actually do it, not to not do it. A lot of people like they get super far and then they have to give up, or they get discouraged, or this, that, the other thing happens, and so. But yeah. Anyway, how are we on time, by the way? Are we good? Are you good? Or
I'm good. It's Tuesday. Tuesday is kind of like a low day for working. So yeah, you're good on time. Don't even worry about it.
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, so maybe we could talk with well, I need to keep up with Matt. Do you guys keep up with each other since?
Okay. This is a weird story. I support Matt Roca in everything he does. He hasn't talked to me since this one time. He had me slated to come out and play a character. Like, wasn't the big thing. I was wearing a costume and the whole thing. I was excited to actually do it. And day before the shoot, me and my wife are walking into the house, and then my neighbor comes over and says, "Hey, Michael, Jamie, I got these 2 tickets for you to go to Catalina Island for free with a free hotel and everything." Nobody does that.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
It's like my boss called me. I have to go to work. I can't go. We're devastated, but I don't want to lose the money when it could have gone to someone else. So here, take this week-long vacation to Catalina Island. You and your girlfriend have a great time. Let us know how you enjoyed it. That happened the day before Matt Roca's shoots. And like I even like started messaging him and saying, hey, I can't make it. This popped up. I explained what happened. I even pitched to him another actor that could take my place since it was a costume role. And then he says, we can't pick him up, but okay, we'll figure it out. I haven't heard from him since.
Oh man. Oh, that's really
that was terrible.
Well, the thing is, and I'm sure, like, do you feel like he holds that against you a little bit, or was he kind of mad, or was he kind of like?
He was mad. I think I might have heard from him once since then. It was like he asked me about how some footage looked.
Okay.
But that was it. I mean, like I tried sending him a message on Facebook, but I guess he's just busy. I mean, I love seeing his project that came out. Like he was making an anti-racist film.
Yes.
Yeah. Forgot what it's called, but
he's still working on that one.
Yeah, his cinematography on that looked amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like I'm always supportive of Matt, and like we had some good times. I hope he pops in on the radar one day.
And then how was Catalina Island?
Oh, it was nice. It was funny to be in this kind of situation where like your girlfriend is watching Disney Channel, and you look outside and you see people crashing golf carts and then drinking beer.
Right.
So I started laughing my ass off when I saw that. It's like, oh, you hit me. I was like, oh, I don't care. It's like, well, goodbye. It was fantastic like that. But that was funny.
Dude, that's so funny, man. I actually have a very similar story. I was set to be in my friend's web series, and I was playing this character, and very similar thing. Night before, like I have free tickets. I have free tickets to the presidential inauguration in Washington, D.C. Right. And we leave tomorrow. Or tonight type thing. And so similar thing where like I messaged him saying like, hey man, I'm really sorry, but this opportunity happened. It's kind of a once in a lifetime thing. I've never been at the inauguration. Like no matter who the president is, like I would go anyway. And so I'm like, hey, I have another actor in mind. I could play it. It's all good. Hey, it was like a little web series, something that we could have rescheduled. Like I would have been back from the weekend, but he had his schedule. After that, he treated me like terrible. Even after like 30 minutes, he goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's already covered. I already got someone else." I'm like, okay, oh, cool, awesome. I'm glad. Wish you the best of luck in your project and stuff and everything. And just didn't. He'd always kind of treat me differently after that, and it wasn't like the same. And then
there's one thing you got to understand about people, and I relay this with my wife because we go through when we're going through actors, it's important for us to know people's Myers-Briggs personality type, because if you're going to find 16 different types of people. You're going to find people who are really easy to work with and very hard to work with, but that's really dependent on their Myers-Briggs personality type. Because the acronyms, right? Or
not offhand, but I've heard of it before.
Introverted versus extroverted. People who live in the now versus later, who plan the future or plan their day. People who think based off of feeling or very technical and full on logic, or people who are just like Jay, not just Jay. What is it? Judgy versus passive and so forth. So these acronyms like help you work with other people if you know what it is. Like for me, I'm ESFP. My acronym tells people like, yes, I'm extroverted. I get energy when I'm around people. I plan my day, not my year. I think I think based off of feeling, and basically if something were to happen to me, I wouldn't be like mad about it. In other words, like I'd be really chill about it. But people who were like the opposite of me, like you're introverted, like you get energy when you're in like
By yourself, or
by yourself, and you plan the future, like you're planning what your life's gonna be like in 5 to 10 years. You're technical. You're obviously you think based off of facts. And if you're like the last acronym, like you come to a decision and you stick to it, and nothing else. For example, if this person like stood me up on a shoot, I'm never working with them again. It's like, so you're really judgy like that. So I think that's what you encountered. You found someone who's really judgy, and they're one of those people out there. If they're this person screwed me over once, the heck with them. They're good. Versus people like me, it was like, well, yeah, stuff happens, but you know what? Come back again then next week.
Right. Yeah. And I think like the case, it's basically a case by case basis, because, if it was like something where I was, I gave some like lame excuse or something like that. Or if I said like, oh yeah, I heard, I don't know, or they get cold feet or something, make up some lame excuse. Oh, sorry. I have a, my car broke down or something like that. I can't make it to your film
Well,
set.
I wouldn't hold that to heart. You're not going to be able to please the world.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Emily, how are you?
Hey,
Good to see you. Good to see you, Emily.
Nice red dress.
Yeah, she's got the red
Yeah, the
dress
little
going.
icon in front of the classic car. That's cool.
It's funny. She changed the color of it, and then she swears that she didn't change it. Right, Emily? Emily was like, it was like blue one time. I'm like, oh, you changed the color of the dress. That's cool. She did like some Photoshop magic. And then she's like, no, I didn't change. Or like, you changed the picture, Emily. She's like, I didn't change the picture. I didn't change the picture. I'm like, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, that looks like the Dean Winchester car behind her. Only it's like turquoise.
Oh, is that the kind of car?
I'm probably not, but it looks like that because the grill looks very similar.
Oh, nice.
My wife is into supernatural, so she catches me up on all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, she's funny though. But what were we talking about? Yeah, I think it is with certain personalities. Like you kind of learn if they're oh, the original version was a blue dress. Oh, interesting. So you made it red. That's cool. So yeah, I think it's about like gauging people, because you learn how some people work, and then also like, because sometimes you don't just like say, oh, screw these people, they're out the window right away, But if someone consistently out of 2 or 3 times they're giving you some BS excuse and flaking out on you when oh, it's a 67 Buick Electrica 22.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, look that up. I have never heard of that.
There's a lot of classic cars that are just awesome like that.
Yeah, I know. I like classic cars. I like the Chevelle. It's probably my favorite 69 Chevelle.
Oh, that's a nice car. Very classic look. Okay. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, that's the Evil Dead car.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Sam Raimi puts that car in every one of his films. You can even find it floating in Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, gauging people, try to meet them on a human level, and then you'll probably make a new friend. Everything goes well.
Yeah, totally.
Naturally, everybody is a great person, but you have to like understand them first before you can make these assumptions and have these expectations, that kind of thing. I work with a lot of people, and I'm grateful to everybody who comes on my set or the people I come in with on their sets. It's like it gives you a chance to get to know them and understand where they're coming from. And if they were to ever get mad, then like obviously that's because it's in their nature to act like that way because of their Myers-Briggs or their personality traits. So, I mean, it's unfortunate when you come across people who I guess they're, I, I guess not toxic. That's the word I'm looking for. It's more of a strict, like with how they view things.
Yeah, yeah, but there are toxic some I've had some people on set where like there's a director of photography that I'd worked with on a friend's set, and I always say that like I'd rather have someone that's good energy, good vibes, and so maybe someone that's a little bit less talented than someone that's like maybe has a better camera, is talented, but is like a jerk to everyone on set
Yeah.
and is just like dragging their feet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I came across.
yeah,
I came across that. Yes.
yeah, totally. Yeah. So what
Mhm.
did you do in that situation?
Went over the guy's head.
What?
Went over the guy's head.
Oh, it went over their head. How do you mean?
Okay. Any kind of job that you work at, if you ever have a
Yeah.
problem with somebody, go over their head.
Huh.
Same applies to film. It's there is there is people that I've worked with. Let's see, it wasn't my set. What was happening is like I was making these Klingon videos for the Comic-Con group for about 5 years or so. So it was a mom and pop group, and one year their daughter brought in a boyfriend who does films. Yay! Familiar field, someone I could talk to. The guy was really introverted. I was really extroverted. Didn't like to talk to anybody else. But he did a lot of backstabbing in that 1 year, to the point where he was trying to get rid of me. He was trying to get rid of some of the people around us and so forth. And then I had to go over the guy's head and tell like the pop of the group, say, hey, this guy's gonna screw you over. He's trying to fix it in a way to where it's all about him and his projects, and he's just using you guys. So it's like, I'll work with anybody, you know that, but this guy's gonna cause you problems. Fortunately, at the time, he didn't quite see eye to eye, but later that year, he did. But that base, that guy is gone. He went back to Hawaii, where he's from, and doing his thing down there. And now every time I come up on the set, I remind him about this guy. There's a reason why you like follow someone who's been in the group for a while versus this new guy who just came in. So it's like, I'll work with anybody, but if they're gonna start making up lies and backstab and just like do their own thing, then you don't want to work with people like that.
Yeah, totally. I always say like I like to save the drama for the movies. Let's keep the drama, on set in the storytelling term versus someone that's gonna cause drama for any reason, or someone doing like a he said she said type thing. Like, okay, let's just think about the solutions here, not just like not just the problem.
Yeah, it's like then you have people who do like they call you up and because they're drunk, and they start using you like a punching bag in a way. And so it's like, I did this, and I want to be with this, and then I want to do that, and making all these demands. And I'm like, okay, dude, you know what? It's not really working out too well. So it's like, if it's my shoot, which is great, then I could choose if I want to work with them again or not. But 2 or 3 times that's happened where I just like I'm working with new people. If I'm coming across some of these people who are just calling me up drunk or trying to start another issue with another actor, and once again, I'm putting that point where I gotta separate them both and talk to them about one of another and go from there.
Yeah. Oh, bringing up like as a filmmaker, have you had people like close friend of yours tell you things like, "What are you doing with your life?" or "Why are you making films? It's so stupid." I don't know. People always talk about like I faced that. I had like a couple of friends that would just went off of me randomly, like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you even trying to pursue film?" And
Three words. 3 words.
Okay, let's hear it.
My entire family.
Oh wow.
My family doesn't understand. My parents are from a different generation where everything in their day was a lot different than what it is today. So my brothers and sisters, they're successful in their right, especially my brother, he's a millionaire who runs like all of Amazon.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
No, he's in charge of like he travels a lot with Amazon. He makes a ton of money, that kind of stuff. He's great. My brother's awesome. I got a sister who's a florist that does her own thing, and another sister that I see on occasion, but um, they they don't understand. They they want to see me grow in a different in a way, but I have to be true to myself because like I can't see myself working these jobs and become a manager at them. I have this conflict in here about what I am. I mean, I can't see myself being a manager of a Target, for example,
Right.
and having that sit well with me. It doesn't feel real like that. So it's if I'm not pursuing a job in my field, which is cinematography, editing, freelance filmmaking, so forth, then I'm wasting my time. So it's you have to be honest, with yourself, because if you just give up on the feel like that you're a failure um, for what you're feeling in here deep inside. Because I feel that everybody they came on this planet to do something, and if they feel that more than anything, then they should pursue it. If you're trying to numb it with try to be a work in like a warehouse or like a having a different career choice, it's always going to bug you to an extent, unless it's like you were put on this earth to be in that kind of a job. So for me, it's going to be my life. Like I'm making projects. So I told my wife, it's like like since we got married, it's like yes, I will always continue to like make films, but I'm also going to pursue that field too. DoorDash is just a side gig that I do. But I've had like a long history of working jobs, and I want to look into more camera-oriented jobs, videographer, editing, that kind of stuff. You can find them down here. And like how you break it into the industry is through those kind of jobs, believe it or not. Because I actually did work on a couple of film sets where people said, "Hey, if you get anywhere from 100 to 1,000 hours of paid camera time, you can actually get into the industry as a cameraman." So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was the guys from Panavision. They told me that. So I mean, like the trick is like once you get those vouchers, you gotta call up this number and like heckle with this group of people that are in charge of that, and then they open up the floodgates. So for me, I love cinematography more than anything. So that's my path. So at least I know it's there. I know what it is. But for a long time, I struggled with this because my especially my mom and dad, they want me just to get any job. And they always say, "Oh, you need to give up that film stuff. It's not good for your life. You're this age old and so forth." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not me. That's not me. That's you guys. You guys can go do those things." My mom's a pianist. My dad's sold asphalt. So it's like those jobs are not meant for me. And I've seen so many movies out there where it's like, let your son or daughter be who they want to be, and the parents need to learn to accept that kind of thing. We've seen it all in every single film. So it's all about being true to yourself because it's in our blood.
Yeah. So when you hear that, when you hear stuff like that, like, I'm sure it hurts inside, and it's something that you just like, were you young, like when you were younger, would that have those words would have hurt maybe a little bit more. Whereas now you already know you're more comfortable with yourself. You're already doing your thing regardless. Like something you kind of approach.
Well,
a little bit differently.
the older you get, the more you're set and then in your ways, which is the hilarious part. Because like,
Right.
it's like I can't tell my mom or dad to do something different because they're just say, "Oh no, that's rubbish," or something like that. But for me, it's I don't know, just it's. I've had a large number of like odd jobs in the past. I have schooling in there. I have odd jobs. I could. It's weird because like the stuff I do nowadays, I work for DoorDash and I'm also a model. I never would have thought.
Hey, oh wow, there you go. Look at you. Okay,
Being a paid
nice.
model is hilarious.
Right.
I thought at age 38 I would actually be going through that, but here I am, and that's where it is. So back then, I wanted to try everything because everything was new to me. It's like you don't know what you're gonna like or not like. So, but you know what you do for free in your spare time, and that's making films.
Mm-hmm. Emily asks, "How many movies have you made, Michael?"
Let's see here. Let's see. Do short films count? I'm not sure.
No, they don't count.
Okay.
They kind of count. Let's go. We can say features, then we can say overall, like which.
Okay, let's say. Okay, so I made. See, I want to say WHITEFIRE is a feature, but it's a 6.5 hour crazy film. So let's just call that one.
Okay.
Mission Apocalypse Part 1 and Part 2. So it's two features in those own rights. I made a Harlequin in Darkness, which is 4. We're working on Backfire.
Wait. Sorry. What's the last one called?
Backfire.
Okay. No. The other one. Horror something of darkness.
A Harlequin in Darkness.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
A Harlequin in darkness.
And I'm not counting those, but I'm going to say 6 because in 2021 I made an hour-long Star Trek Klingon film. Fan.
Oh wow.
So
no way.
I'm going to say 6. I mean, like they're all long projects because I have a hard time stopping at 2 hours. but yeah, I would say 6. With a lot of like short films that are like left and right here and there, but they're addictive.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, guys. So if you guys, check out his movies, and we'll definitely want to check out Mission Apocalypse via the Louisiana streaming service. I think. Okay,
It's called Louisiana Film Channel.
Okay, here we go. I think this is it here. That's fun. I mean, it's Mormons versus zombies. Here, I'll link you guys here. Which, of course, that's amazing. Like one of my first short films was about Mormons. It was 2 guys that are too lazy to get jobs, so they decide to dress up as Mormons and ask for donations. So
nice.
Yeah, so that was a fun one. That was like my first most ambitious short film. It was like 35 minutes. At the
Our
time.
film was about 2 Mormons already on their mission, and their mission happens to be in the zombie apocalypse.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's about these 2 guys, and then it grows into this big thing that happens. So we actually got real Mormons to play the Mormons. We actually got to film in a actual Mormon ward, for the second half of the film, which was fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
We introduced a lot of great ideas, but the zombies are going to be zombies and the Mormons are going to be Mormons, and we thought we blended that perfectly. So I love that project. That project was special.
So they have it broken up in 5 episodes. Is that something was that intentional, or was that something that they did, or were you like originally? Oh, you did it. Okay, nice.
I did it because they wanted to do it episodic.
Okay.
Because the whole film altogether is 3 hours and 16 minutes long.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So basically, I chopped up into 5 pieces because it's a lot easier to watch something episode by episode than all at once. So there was a brief,
especially if it's 3.5, 3 hours 15 minutes or 60.
Yeah. I mean, what I did was that these 2 chunks, I put them together, and that's the 2 parts put together. So you're watching as one giant feature. So you could take a bunch of short films and put it into one big film to make it a feature if you want to, or you can take like one really long film and make it turn it into two. So with these projects, it's like you have to choose like where's a good start and stop and so forth. So Mission Apocalypse probably has like one in the middle of it. That makes a lot of sense. But that was a lot of fun.
Wow. And then you did the sequel. So was the sequel broken up in episodic or?
What we did was we made part 1 and part 2, and they were a prequel. And these films were a prequel to Whitefire.
Oh, okay.
And basically, and then this is where it gets crazy. Backfire, the one that we're working on right now, is a sequel to Whitefire and Mission Apocalypse.
Gotcha.
So it brings back characters from technically the 10 years ago, in storyline wise. So that was fun to put together because it's mostly like a feature of the Whitefire universe, but it really is it brings back all the characters from Mission Apocalypse, which was really cool because we ended Mission Apocalypse on like the perfect note. You don't expect another sequel.
No spoils. Oh, I don't need. Yeah,
I know.
But no, good. Good. Yeah, smart.
But,
So that series, it is 1 and 2 put together. It's just all 5. It's just strung out into 5. Okay,
exactly.
Copy that.
Because I was figuring it's like, if I was going to do that, then I might as well show people everything because chances are that person, especially since this is an indie film, people won't usually go out of the way to see a part 2 if it's out there. So
yeah, totally. Well, someone can sign up for a subscription, have a free trial for 7 days with the Louisiana Film Channel, and then after that, it's $4.99 a month. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, guys, support Michael. I'll definitely be checking out your films. And
you'll enjoy it.
Oh yeah, awesome. So yeah, I mean that's something that like over the top action explosion. I see a Mormon with a minigun over here, so that looks that looks exciting.
that minigun, like I made that from scratch one day because I wanted a Gatling gun or minigun.
Okay.
And I mean, like I brought it to Comic-Con a lot because what I did is like I took a drill and then I built up that drill to look like a Vulcan minigun or Gatling gun. And then I ran around Comic-Con as a ninja with a Gatling gun. So if you go on Google, you'll see like ninja with a Gatling gun pictures. So
oh my gosh.
So and then like I kept the prop in my garage and then and I reused it for Mission Apocalypse. So that was fun.
Wow. See that's what's cool, especially like a lot of creatives that Comic-Con, people that can build weapons, they can build cool costumes, and then collaborating with them a while, that is awesome. Like and utilizing those resources. I think Comic-Con especially is a great place to film content, whether it's for your YouTube channel or right.
It's a place. It is a hive for all that stuff.
I think we got it here. Is this it?
Yep, that's me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks real. Like, dang. Yeah. Like those bullets and everything.
Yeah, the bullets are something I found at Party City because I wanted them to be light. I got more realistic ones nowadays. Oh, but wow. Yeah, that little housing like above the like where the bullets is. You flip it up. That's where the drill battery was.
Wow. So does it actually like spin and move and everything?
Oh yes, it does. It spins.
Oh my word. Wow.
Oh my gosh. In that picture too. I mean, like I was having a great time, like, like running around a little bit, being my ninja self. I actually have an Expendables 2 poster in my hand, but I dropped it and then I left it there. I was so pissed.
Oh, dang.
That was the one that had Arnold Schwarzenegger and Chuck Norris and all them on. I was like, damn it.
Dang. Did it have their autographs too?
No. I mean, like, it was a giveaway by the Lionsgate booth.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool. That is badass.
Yeah, my very first film was a Pirates versus Ninja film, and My very first outfit I put together was like a ninja, and that's the one right there.
Oh, I see.
So I always go to Comic-Con dressed up as that ninja, and so forth. The two swords in the back and all the weapons and everything.
Yeah, how does that work with Comic-Con? Like they check your
They've gotten a lot more strict over time.
Yeah.
I mean, like I used to walk into Comic-Con with like 68, weapons on me.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
But they would all have to be piece tied and have like these little fluorescent looking little tags on them that says weapon checked.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they got more strict over time. So I have to be more creative about it and just like bring in 3D printed weapons or wooden weapons or ways to get around it that make it look like that it's real, but it really isn't. So it's just like it's one of those challenging accepted moments.
Yeah. I mean, and you come with it, and you got to figure out a way to legally bring it in there and showcase it,
and not only that, but you can also buy weapons inside Comic-Con. There's people. I try to tell people it's like yeah, you can stop me at weapon check, but I'm probably just going to go inside the convention and buy myself other new weapons over here.
Yeah, right.
Which happens.
Wow. Yeah, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So with Backfire, you said it's about 80% complete.
Yeah.
What's that? What's the timeline looking for that? When can we expect?
First quarter of 2024.
Okay. Okay.
There is a really crazy scene that we're mapping out right now. It's usually in the third act it gets the craziest, and that's where we're at because we have to do a lot of we have to do every trick in the book in order to get this piece done because it's very, very artistic. Because this big battle's happening, and there's this giant robot. There's tanks. There's ship. There's jets. There's everybody shooting weapons, and all these special characters everywhere fighting. So in the middle of that, this is where we get crazy. In the middle of the robot, a hole opens up, and basically the main character drives a car into the middle of it and starts driving around the inside of the robot. And then inside the robot is actually this gigantic haunted house. And he's trying to get to the heart.
Of course it is. Wow. Yeah.
and he's trying to get to the heart where he's trying to get to the heart where the main villain from the first film is being resurrected. So it turns into this big crazy action piece. It almost feels like Transformers in a way, but it's the effects that we're doing. We have to build some little mini sets. We have to do CGI cars in there. I had to get the actresses and then involved and that kind of stuff. I just got a Corvette last week to film with. So
legit.
But I'm expecting this particular point to take the most time out of everything I do. We finished the beginning part, we finished the middle parts, aside from one scene, and then now we're into the third act of the film. So I say 80% there.
Wow, that's exciting. That's impressive. To have that third act big battle, that is something that wow. I mean, I can only imagine what that's like.
Especially if you're doing anything fantasy or action oriented, it's always that third act has to impress.
Yeah, you really pull out all the stops, bring out everything, bring out all the big guns. The stakes are as high as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm. And everything just goes crazy from there. So one thing that we're still kind of mulling over is if we really want to keep the ending that we got, because there's multiple endings right now. So that is something that we're considering right there, because it's where I'm at with this right now is how I end this film will dictate how I start the third chapter.
Wow.
So
yeah. So and then what are we looking at runtime for this one?
Let's just say 2 hours.
I think if you do that, like, yeah, like solid 2 hour action packed movie, I mean, dude, that's something that, you
The
know,
plan, the plan here is, I mean, like with Whitefire, I mean, like I just showed it and gave it to people on DVD. Mission Apocalypse, I actually put it on a streaming service, which I plan to do more. But for this film, I want to run it through festivals
oh, cool.
and see if and see what I can do with it or what happens with it there. I don't know because like the thing is with these characters that I've made, um, I want to see if I can turn it into something bigger than what it is. I'm not sure if that's a thing or not, but I don't know if that's biting off more than I can chew. But maybe if someone sees this crazy film, maybe the one like put it in like all like in stores or something like that. Maybe they'll want to buy it from me and then make a bigger one. I don't know. Maybe nothing will happen at all. But that's where I'm kind of putting all my eggs in one basket on. With this film, I want to see what happens with it.
Well, that's the thing, man. I think it's always about like going all out with one film, releasing it, and then doing the best you can with however it, you know, however you navigate its release and everything. And then from there, all that you learn, you put that into the next one, go all out, put it out, do it again. I think if people can expect that from you, like some all outness, action packedness, I think you'll definitely get your following. And yeah, have you tried Film Hub? Or heard about Film Hub for distribution?
I heard of Film Hub. I haven't actually like read into it and so forth.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty cool. Like I've submitted a few films into there, and they help like distribute it on a bunch of different apps, like Amazon Prime, like global, not just local, not just U.S. and Canada. Anyone can self distribute on Amazon Prime. A lot of people
yeah,
don't know that, but it has to be. They have to, you've got to fit through a lot of different criteria in order to get it. Not everyone can get in or
I
gets
thought about
accepted.
doing putting Mission Apocalypse on Amazon Prime. To
You
see what
should,
happens.
man. You honestly should because, like, right, as a filmmaker, you'd like to you want people to see your movies, right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, like if Velocipaster can be put on there, then so can Mission Apocalypse.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like any one of these movies, and I feel like any one of those movies are just opening up the floodgates for other movies like this to happen, or like Kung Fury. You ever see that?
I love Kung Fury.
Right? Oh yeah, I knew. Oh, I knew you'd love it.
Kung Fury pretty much like like I feel like that guy who made it and me are brothers because we're both the same. Um, that type of storytelling is what I did in my film.
Yeah,
It's like he made Kung Fury, I made Whitefire, and we don't know each other. It's weird.
yeah,
He also
yeah.
made a sequel that's coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Kung
exciting.
Fury 2 actually has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it and Michael Fassbender.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's legit.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he had Hasselhoff in the first one.
I love
That was.
Hasselhoff. That True Survivor song, like I play it all the time in the car.
Oh, it's an epic song. Yeah. Like people like that. I think that's the beauty about independent films these days is like if you have the talent to make it on your own, like you can get it seen and that opens up the floodgates for even getting celebrities involved, people that are become fans of it, and then more people see it, and then you can raise more money for it. And I think that's something that is very promising, and I think it's very promising with technology, filmmakers like yourself and the people of Kung Fury and stuff like that can release your movies and get them out there and keep making more movies for you know
Yeah,
um
because I think after I finish Backfire, I'll probably um, I'll branch out with some experiments. But usually, what I've been doing is I've been guided on whatever I follow passion wise when it comes to projects and like what to do next. Obviously, it's like I've this whole universe I've created with my characters is something I'm always going to love. But I do want to take a stab on a couple of video game related projects that I've always been thinking about and so forth. That not too many people know about, like Chrono Trigger, Alone in the Dark, some obscure video games that people don't should know about that don't. But
Yeah.
love to make a Resident Evil film, a short film. Of that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because like the one that came out recently, it's like I don't know what it is, but they got the casting wrong and the script was decent. And
Yeah, I didn't bother seeing it. Was it? Did they try to do suspense, or were they trying to do the Mila Jovovich action horror thing again?
it was based off of the 2 first video games. They were
Oh.
actually smart about that. They actually combined the first game and the second game and went with it, and I was like very happy with that. It's just that coming from a Resident Evil like fan, old school days, the casting wasn't top notch. I guess there's this rule in Hollywood where you need to have this diversity card in there, and they changed it for the film, and they made the characters different, and it's like I just stick to the source material.
Yeah, I think it's something where like I understand having diversity in film, and it's very important, but when you start to fundamentally change the core of a character that's been established for 30 years already, it's something that is almost a insult to the source material. It's almost like
it's like this. It's like this. When people ask me about how I feel about like the diversity in films, I tell them it's like they stand a better chance in the long run if they make new characters that are different, ethnicities. Because if you're taking a character that people know for years that they identify with as an ethnicity, then you may satisfy some people, but you're going to make other people angry. So I feel that when it comes to diversity, you need to be smarter about it and make new characters with different ethnicities. That way, it's organic, and and people will love it because it's organic. So basically, if it's Superman, this is one of my great examples because actually one of my favorite Superman characters is actually black, and that was Jeremy Irons, and he was like this steel or like Superman, and I loved reading about him in the comics. He was awesome, and we saw him. We saw like a 1996 movie of Shaquille O'Neal playing him. But
really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I never heard of that.
It flopped. But
was that Shazam, or that's a different thing? That's a different thing.
That was Shaquille.
Kazam.
Yeah, he also did like Kazam as well.
Yeah.
But like it's I went to the theaters and actually saw that movie because I was a fan. Because that was Jeremy Irons. And Jeremy Irons was a black Superman that had like this Iron Man kind of silver metallic like S and everything. And so it's like I loved it because that was an original character that I'm glad that they didn't make white or anything like that. So when it comes to making characters like nowadays, you got to if that's what the character started out as, you should always keep it that way. But because your fan base is going to be very vocal about it, and I feel like it creates more hate when you change it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's ways to do different renditions too. It's kind of like who's it, Miles from Spider-Man. He's not Peter Parker, right? He's Miles.
Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales. So it's like that's a cool rendition of something where, like, yeah, if you want to.
That's more of a recent character. From Miles Morales is what didn't he come out like the last 15 years or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I have. Believe me, I have like in my collection behind me. Into the Spider-Verse. I love that movie.
Cool.
But yeah, it's like like I said, it's like I like seeing things being like new and original, so forth, because. If you're going to make a sequel to something, bring back the original actors or cast someone who looks like him, kind of stuff. If you're going to make a new story that nobody knows about, like what I'm doing, then do it. And I got diverse characters in my films and so forth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's totally. I mean, and that's the thing is like, I think you made a good point. Like, there's a lot of room for new characters. There's a lot of room for new stories to be told, not just the same rehashing, not just bringing back. But of course, we know Hollywood because they love, of course, they love money, and if they already see that one property made a bunch of money, they're like going to say, okay, well, why don't we just do a sequel to that rather than try to do a whole new thing? And it's that is pretty frustrating when it comes to at least originality or seeing new movies that you like the property of, and then they're changing the story, or they're trying to appease a certain audience, and then they end up appeasing nobody.
Well, it's like I said, it's turning into Hollywood is they're putting politics over entertainment. If that makes any sense. I mean, like, without getting into it too much, or I think that's what's happening nowadays is you're having a lot of people out there who are very passionate about their characters that they grew up with, and to see them change, it's not really working too well. Even like, with the writing, if you're changing the lore on something, the fans are going to be vocal about it, and then how the studios react to it is saying that this fandom is toxic. No, they're not toxic. They're telling you what's the problem is, and you're not listening.
Dude, the best thing that came to my mind is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Oh my goodness me!
I hate that film with a complete undying passion.
Dude, I'm 100% there with you.
Like, I love Luke Skywalker as a character, but not Jake Skywalker. I mean, like, it's now that script was just a complete mess. But then again, the thing is with Star Wars, if we're going to talk about Star Wars on this, that those were definitely rushed projects. They were made by the numbers, and then not made because of passion. I feel like. I mean, yeah, you have people in there who love Star Wars who went into it, but it's like, for what J.J. Abrams has done, and Rian Johnson, and Kathleen Kennedy, it's like, it's plain and simple. They're not George Lucas.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, like, if you ask me to say something good about Last Jedi, I'll tell you the cinematography was awesome.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. It was shot beautifully. Looks really cool.
So yes. Did Disney call us shit? Did they do it that way? I remember walking out of that theater yelling my head off about that particular film, because it's a challenge to make a sequel to a movie. It always is. How would that live up to the first one? I mean, like, when you finally get there on your own with a project, let's say if you made Simp 2, for example, how would you top the first one? How would you build upon the second movie? What new story would you do that would do the first one justice without it feeling like a side movie? And I feel like it's, for what they put in that movie, just wasn't anything good. It's like you had all these books to fall back on, like the books were fantastic, and I don't even read. People tell me all the time, but it's I don't know. It's between killing characters, everybody kills characters, but what they did with Luke, they did him dirty.
Yeah, that whole thing. I mean, and talking about that, like, because I know Rian Johnson went off and said, like, oh, the Star Wars fandom is toxic and stuff like that. But it's like, well, if you put toxic sludge on the screen, and you take something that is so precious, so beloved, and then literally, it seemed to me, at least, that he was doing everything he could to just give the middle finger to any of the fans. It wasn't. It got to the point where it was like it was insulting. Like, he didn't want to do the story justice. All he really wanted to do
subvert expectations.
Right. Yeah. And then, okay, subverting expectations. Right. Let's talk about that for a second. Like, but for this movie, this movie that I made. I wanted to do a lot of subversion of expectations, but it has to have an actual point to it. You can't just subvert expectations just to subvert expectations. Just because it's gonna piss people off or it's gonna get people talking or just because you're unique and original. And if you subvert expectations, the expectations are to be subverted. So you are gonna say, "Oh my gosh, now this guy." Because this guy wants to subvert expectations, we're gonna make Luke a wuss. Let's just make him a wuss. Let's just make him,
not just a wuss, but he never actually grew his. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
know. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. My Dr. Halloween is coming out. Killing Luke, like killing off a major Star Wars character every film that they came out with. To me, it's like, why was that decision even there? It doesn't make sense. If people ask me what Star Wars movie should they watch, it's like, oh yeah, that's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Clone Wars, and Mandalorian season 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like if you want to reunite the fans, show the Mandalorian, especially that ending of season 2, where Luke comes back and kicks ass. That was fantastic.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I spoiler alert. I haven't seen it yet. I know. Yeah, I haven't. I've seen.
Okay, you got to. Oh my gosh, Tremaine.
I've seen the first. I'm more of a movies guy. Like I'll watch the movies, the series.
Well,
I did watch. I watched
shot like a movie. What if it's shot?
Yeah. No. It is. That is cool.
Okay, Tremaine. I'm just gonna say this. Watch Mandalorian season 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. I've seen a couple of the episodes.
If you like the original Star Wars, watch that.
Okay.
That to me that was like the best moment of 2020 is watching Mandalorian.
Good. Well, and that's the thing, and like that is a silver lining because it was like after the abomination that was the Last Jedi, it made me really jaded, like Jedi. It was just like over Star Wars and it was a cash grab or trying to. Yeah, of course, of course. Like, yeah, and I can't blame him for that, But to make something that was so insulting to the audience, and then it was insulting to the previous movie too, because he's just like, oh yeah, all the stuff we built up in the last one. Yeah, no, it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. They actually kicked George Lucas out of being a consultant after episode 7 because they wanted to do their own thing.
That is a completely insulting to me. I mean, it's like keep him on as a consultant. Yeah, you could have different directors. I mean, yeah, okay. Empire Strikes Back wasn't directed by Lucas,
Yeah, but he had his hand all over it.
Right, but yeah, he had his hand all over it. Like, it doesn't mean that he can't be producing. He's the ultimate creator. Like, yeah. and they literally lied to him. They told him, we're going to consult you. Don't worry about it. Like. And he said, like, yeah, Disney said, like, hey, we're gonna consult you for the sequels and everything, and he said I had a plan laid out for it and already, and they just threw it all out the window and just wanted to
want to do their own thing because it's really like when I was talking to people about the first movie that came out, The Force Awakens, I says, yeah, I like the new cast, it was good, but it failed to bring back the original trio in the same scene. You stuff Luke in like less than a minute of screen time at the very end, and you didn't give me too much context on Rey other than being a Mary Sue. So yeah, I had issues with 7, but not like, but I at least passed it off as saying, okay, it was shot good. You can't really screw that up in this. He has real sets. I like John Williams scoring in that movie and so forth, and yeah, there were some good things that were good in there, but it did feel a lot like a rehash of 4. So that was my overarching gripe that Disney couldn't be original in it. But then you get over to Last Jedi, and then it's like suddenly Star Wars hates me. And then it didn't make anything better with the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. What do you think about that? Oh my days. It was like Rise of Skywalker. It was like something that I'm trying to think of an analogy. It was like a fire
It was
building
a
is
damage. It was
it's like the building's on fire, and we're like, okay, we need 100 people, and here's a cup of water. We just need to keep throwing cups of water onto this fire to try to
because
put this out.
last night it was the dumpster fire, and then the next film was like neglecting child support right there.
Yeah, it was like this it was like this super hyper like ADD film. Like, how much can we try to correct with a red pen from the last one and try to do something fun and wrap up the whole series all at the same time?
Because the problem is the whole 3 movies are so against each other. All 3 movies are against each other. They fight one another. There is no proper flow between film to film to film, other than seeing the characters come back. So it's like they made mistakes there. They ruined the original cast. They screwed up on the villains, like left and right. Oh my gosh! But you want to? I mean, like, I could go down a list of why that's bad, but you want to know the one great thing these 3 films did?
What?
They made the prequels look amazing.
I was just about to say that. Yes, it did. It did. And you know what's so funny?
Makes you love those characters, like, and so forth. Even when you see these shows on Disney Plus, you love the prequels because the sequel trilogy is awful because it has no love from George Lucas at all. Mm-hmm. It's expensive, over elaborate cash grabs. And the worst part about those things is that we can't really retcon them, really. I mean, like, yeah, you and I can say, like, Star Wars 1 through 6 and Mandalorian, and it's canon and nothing else. But we can't retcon them because they were the only films that brought back Han, Luke, and Leia. That's the problem. Yeah. And we have to live with that and so forth.
Brought him back just to kill him, or Luke pretty much just died on the inside anyway,
A lot of people had these expectations to see Luke light up his lightsaber and kick some ass, and I never got that. I never got that.
No. And he never will.
I don't know what it would take, to be in a toxic relationship, with one of my previous relationships, or relive the freaking sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Yeah. That is something that I will stand by too. And I was only proven more right because when the prequels came out, like, I think people liked it initially, then everyone loved hating, bashing on them or whatever. And I will stand by. I love the prequels, even episode 2 with wacky dialogue. I'm so in love with you. No, that's because I'm so in love with you. But whatever they say, or like, I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere. It's like, oh gosh.
Okay. I do like the prequels quite a bit. I mean, like, if you rewatch those movies by today's standards, they're great. I love the second one. I love the first one and the third. Actually, I did have like a small issue when I watched the third movie back in the day because I didn't see Vader kick so much ass, but Rogue One fixed that. I don't know if you saw that, but Vader.
Wait, in what? In Rogue One?
Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
To
me, that was the only 5 minutes of that movie that was badass. Like, I love that. I love that part. Yeah, that whole other movie was like, it was really depressing and like it just sucked kind of a lot of the soul out of Star Wars.
Third act had a lot of nice action to it, but it's like it was missing some Star Wars elements that made it feel like a Star Wars film. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, right.
There's people out there who love it and say it's the best Star Wars ever. Cool, good on you, buddy. But I felt like someone lighting up a lightsaber and like having the Jedi and a couple other Star Wars elements in there. It's like I felt like it was missing. I mean, like the posthumous, that's how you say the word. Like actor, coming back was actually pretty cool. But
General, what's his name? Taft or not Taft?
Tarkin?
Tarkus? Oh yeah, Tarkus.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first 3 movies were were good. I overlooked Jar Jar Binks because to me, like Jar Jar Binks is a lot better than Rose Tycho.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Rose. Oh my gosh.
Have you gotten that far with that logic?
Oh
Have you admitted to
gosh.
yourself that
Oh yeah, Jar Jar. Yeah, that makes Jar
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 Jar is
bangs
better
look
than
like
Rose Tycho?
Jar Jar looks like James Bond compared to Rose. You know, he's just yeah, like that dummy. Like what is she? What are you? Like what are you doing? Saving your life, dummy. Kiss. That was so.
Okay, that was the most retarded moment in life. Your base is fucking blowing up, and then you guys have a kiss where it goes nowhere in the next film or anywhere else before it or after it. What the fuck?
It was the most like, and the kiss was like I've never seen such a like a platonic relationship, zero chemistry kiss.
And the next film makes it worse. They didn't even address any of that. She gets 1 minute and 14 seconds worth of screen time out of it because it was retconned so bad. I mean, nothing against the actress. She did her job. I mean, like if I was her, I'd be stoked to be part of Star Wars too.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But what really just did what Disney did was just like just run her through a crowd of people, by her ankles and being set on fire with that role. I mean, like
yeah.
I mean, she was better in the animated film Raya, or the little animated film that we saw a couple years ago.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, it's a Pixar film. They're like skippable. It's kind of like Moana in a way, but I don't know. I'm not really into CGI for films like that, but my wife was watching it.
Okay.
But
nice.
it's like people's got to screen things better. It's like the third movie of Rise of Skywalker was damage control to the last one, but it
was like basically like it would be like the asteroids come into Earth, and it's gonna hit Earth no matter what, right? It was crash, like they took Star Wars and it was a crash landing. It was a crash landing ship after Return of Jedi, and it'd be like trying to put out the fires of the ship and rebuild it while it's falling down and repair it to make it somewhat salvageable and have a black box for the recording of it. Like it was such a tough challenge, and that was one thing that J.J. Abrams said that he regretted. And what's funny is that because he's tactful with how he said it though too. He's like, oh yeah, because initially he's like, oh yeah, why should I have reins for all three of the movies? I should let another director have the reins for at least one of them or something. And that was the one thing that he regretted. He wished that he had the reins for all of it, which is like a sneaky way of saying, Rian Johnson, you messed up. Like he messed up with that, but he didn't know that Rian Johnson was going to do what he did.
I think Rian Johnson okay. I don't agree with Last Jedi by any means. I don't agree with his decisions on it. But I don't think he was passionate about it. I really don't think he was. I think that he was contracted for a job. He always wanted to do a Star Wars film, and he did it. But for him to not really understand where Luke came from, like the first 6 movies, that fell flat to me. Because on his own merit, I did like his film, Knives Out.
Yeah.
Knives Out
it's great. It's a great film. Oh yeah, murder mystery. I liked his other films. Brick. It was a great one. That's a really good neo noir type.
Well, I don't understand when people drop the ball so horrendously low like this. Because is it because Star Wars just has this too much lore to follow, or is it because that people just want to do something different from what they've seen in the first 6 movies?
My question would be what did they do? Because it's Disney. They do test audiences and stuff. What did they? Who did the test audiences? And were they just because I have a feeling they were like, you know what, let's just get behind Rian Johnson's vision. He's a filmmaker type thing, and
I would love to get a test audience, to be honest, but I don't think they actually go to the public for that. I think they do inside people.
Yeah. Well, they do. I mean, I've been test audiences for some things, and it's really interesting. Like I did this test audience for this one Robin Williams movie that it wasn't really that good. You know, I went with my friends, and he was good in it, but it was ended up not being that great. And at the end, they were like, "Okay, so who all liked the movie?" Right? And myself and like my two friends that I went with for the screener didn't raise their hand, right? And they're like, "Oh, who didn't like the movie?" Then they raised the hand, and they're like, "Okay, so we're gonna have some people stay afterwards. You're gonna make an extra amount of money. You're gonna elaborate on the film, why you liked it, why you didn't like it."
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, which is really cool. But guess what? They kept all the people that said they liked the film and got rid of us. They gave us the boot. We were the only ones that said that stood up and said that we didn't like the movie, and they didn't want to hear our opinion. They were just like, just okay. Oh well, we'll see you guys later. We're gonna keep these people, like everyone that. So
That's not right. You got to
that
listen.
it isn't right because I think that's another thing because sometimes it's these consulting companies that they want to impress the studio, right? So they want to say, "Oh yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback on this film. It's so great." Which to me it doesn't make any sense because you're not actually doing your job at that point. You know,
Yeah,
your job is to actually get some real opinions, people that are going to give you a lot of info. I would have given them a ton of info with what I thought of the movie and
I
why
mean,
it wasn't good. And
I have seen like test audience work in the favor. For example, let's see, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Have you ever seen it?
you know, I haven't, but I've read the script, which is really interesting.
See that movie?
Okay.
Okay. So they changed the ending in over with the test audience, and I'm glad they really did because that whole movie was amazing, absolutely amazing. Like cinematography was like unlike everything I've ever seen before because of
Mhm.
how comic booky it was, and I love all the references. So to me, that's always going to be one of my favorite films. Yeah, because you ever want to watch great cinematography, watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The story is phenomenal. It has a strong video game thing to it, but their alternate ending, I would have hated the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, like because like the whole movie builds up to the ending, like literally the ending, and then they shot this alternate ending, and to me, it didn't make sense at all. And then basically, people in the test audience say, "Hey, no, this has to be this a different way," and then the director agrees, so he can refilm the ending to what people like wanted, and then the movie did awesome. And
Wow.
so across the board, it was a fantastic movie. So it's times like those that makes me wonder about Indiana Jones, like the fifth movie that's coming out because they shot the ending like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
John Williams mentioned in like an interview, like what a month ago, saying, "Yeah, we're gonna. I got to score the new ending that they just shot."
Wow. Oh,
So
yeah, because I guess the script leaked or something, right? And then people found out about what happened in it, and it was accurate. And
I'm
then,
not sure if that happened or not. I mean, like if it did, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that news would have been run rapid, kind of like how people were leaking about Spider-Man No Way Home, like special appearances.
oh yeah, yeah, the rumor had it, the rumor
Yeah,
mill.
yeah.
Yeah.
Worst kept secrets in Hollywood.
Worst what?
Worst
Worst.
kept secrets in Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did like that movie though. I think that was a really good how they did that, and I wasn't expecting that. Like the uh I guess spoiler for people who haven't seen it, but the mixing the universes, the Spider
Oh yeah,
verses together.
I mean, like that to me, that's like out of what Marvel made. Well, it was Sony, but that was the best Phase Four movie from Marvel.
I agree.
That
Yeah,
I love that movie.
yeah, and it made a ton of money on the box office, and for good reason, and it had something that I feel like that is an example of they took what would fans want to see, what could be kind of cool, and how could they utilize the whole like Andrew Garfield movies that came out that they just kind of addressed and pretended like they didn't happen. They made these 2 movies, and then it's like, oh well, we were gonna make a 3rd one, but we're not gonna do that anymore. We got a new Spider-Man now.
They definitely put a lot of love into that project. Like they brought back the Spider-Mans and so forth, and they actually added to the stories. It was made for pure entertainment, and that's why people gravitated so much. Just like Top Gun Maverick, those are both passion projects.
Totally, yeah. So, they happen to be huge, million dollar movies, but they're still huge passion projects.
Yeah, because you put the entertainment first with your audience, and your politics non-existent.
Yeah, and I think, if you have a character that's a certain political thing, right? If there's a character that has a certain point of view, that's fine, right? But then to try to sway people's opinion or try to shove some message down their throats without them even getting to know what the character is, and just accepting people thinking that everyone just already agrees with you. That's not. Yeah,
it's not really part of the story if you think about it. You're trying to push a message in there.
Yeah, and especially if you're talking about comic book movies, or if you're you know what I mean, you're talking about a fantasy world, right? And and then you're trying to put real world politics in it, which is okay, I could get there's there's allegories, there's stuff that can mirror real life and stuff like that. But I feel like just trying to appease certain, and ultimately, I don't think the people that are making it actually care, because I think they're just oh well, what could be cool to check this box and check this box? How can we just do that? And if movies are in, I think audiences see through that. They can see through.
They do, and I think they see a pattern now at this point. Mainly, it's makes me wonder, because there's a lot of these projects that well, here's a nitty gritty of it. I'm going to take Terminator or Dark Fate, for example. And you got to make a film without these politics, because if your audience sees this, they're not going to want to go see the movie. And what happens is, when they don't see the movie, you don't make any more movies after that. It basically turns into what is called a murdered franchise. So the problem with this idea is, say fans, what's a good action movie? I got my movies right here. Let's say someone comes up and wants to make Last Action Hero 2, bring back Arnold Schwarzenegger and so forth, but then you put all this politics in it, and you change it, and then you pass the torch to another character that nobody likes, and you do all this stuff. The problem with that is nobody's going to want to see it, because they've seen so many movies like this already. So what ends up happening is a real Last Action Hero 2 will never be made, or we'll never get a Last Action Hero 3 where it's done better, because Hollywood's going to write that off as a failed franchise that they never want to touch ever again. And that's unfortunate. So, yeah. I mean, it's I think yesterday, me and my wife, we watched Charlie's Angels.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the first 2 movies, we love watching, but we don't want to watch the reboot of it, because we know there's a lot of politics involved.
Oh, I forgot they even did a reboot of it. Exactly. And they came out and everything. Wow. Yeah. Well, and that is a thing where you want to, going back to what we were saying before, is you want to do justice to the source material, but if you're trying to put all this new type of politics in it, and then not only that, is that no matter whatever the politics are of the film, in 4 years or 8 years or whenever, the test of time, it's not gonna last the test of time, because whatever the politics idea was at this time, it's just gonna stand out as oh, this is just a sore thumb part of this. Now it's dated, right? Now people are okay, we're done hearing this. We're done, you get all this politics in your face, and also not only that, like entertainment companies, I believe, have a responsibility to entertain and not to to put entertainment first, put joy first, and
yeah,
uh,
it's definitely becoming a problem for the movies that are made nowadays. But like I said, if you do things organic from the start, nobody can complain about it. Like I said, it's like my characters that I made her. She has like obviously her character is white, but I made her best friend Spanish because I had a great idea behind that character and I wanted to see her come through. And I'm basically like from the start, that's the character. I'm not going to change it down the line either because that's always going to be a Spanish character to me. So it's like it's integrity over time. So I mean, like I think like that won't make anybody mad. They'll actually enjoy seeing the character from the start of it. So yeah, I mean, like if you brought back Sedenia from Greatest Showman on Earth and she reprised her role, people would love her to see her. But if you change her to like a white girl with the same name, people will bash and hate it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Superman. If you make Clark Kent a different ethnicity, people are going to hate it. So if you make Black Panther
White Panther,
yeah, people are going to hate it because I wouldn't want to see a Black Panther that's not a Black Panther, not a black guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's just like I said, it's just these philosophies. Everybody's gonna have different opinions about it. People will probably be mad about something I said, but you know what? It's the better solution for the long term. If so forth, but that's just how I would do it. I would bring in characters that are different ethnicities in my projects, and I would keep them that way.
Right, and they'd be that way just because you want that to be the character. You're not that you're checking off a box or you're just trying to
I'm just following passion.
Yeah. So okay, so real quick, and then we should probably call it pretty soon, but real quick. So I've had some experiences, people that want to give me money for a project, but they want something in the project. Like if someone says, hey, here's X amount of money, but my nephew is a great, or my niece is a really great actress, right? Can you get her in a movie? And turns out she's terrible. It's like, what do you do? Do you accept that money? What do you do as a filmmaker?
Have you ever seen the animated film Sing 2?
I have not seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Sing 2, at the very exact thing you talked about, was actually a big plot point in that film, Sing 2. It's an animated film. I think it was made. I'm not sure if it was made by Pixar. I think it was DreamWorks, but that same exact thing. So, in that situation, you do put them in your project, but you find them a role that fits their talents or what they have. So that's the correct way to go. Because basically, if they said that their nephew was good, but they need to be better, then basically part of that is to train them and make them better. Because that's a challenge for you to be a good director. So,
wow.
So
what if they're so bad though? They're just like they can't memorize any lines. They can't,
give them a role without lines, but put them.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's like if their movements are very robotic, good, make them a robot. if it's you gotta use that person for their talents, whatever that they're good at. Maybe they're better at stunts than it's just finding the right part for them and so forth. Now it's like, but since you're in charge of that project and they're trying to go after the main role, they need to prove themselves because that's just where it is. It's like because it really is bringing them aboard in the same boat more than it is a certain part, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. Especially if they're trying to get their start. So that's where I would approach it, especially if it's someone like an investor and they got a cousin, that kind of thing. Yeah, bring them aboard, see what they can do, and see how we could better the project. And like I said, in a complete and perfect way.
Okay, I like that. I like that answer. So I like that you're not. And another question was like, how are you with your script? Are you like a Quentin Tarantino, where you're like every word you say, every word you write on the page is gospel, and they have to say it exactly? Or are you like, well, say the line, or if someone has a way to say it better or more accurate to the character, are you open to hearing that too?
I'm open to hearing that because I write out a script to give the actor an idea. Sometimes I phrase things that that the actor will say better, and that's good because I want them to feel like the line embodies something that they would say from their dialect better. So there is a lot of times where I'm like, hey, it doesn't have to be word for word. If you're just going to stumble on the word or that kind of stuff, you could change the word a little bit so it sounds better. But I do have to say, hey, this you have to say this line a certain way because it has an impact on other aspects of the film. So, but that's pretty much, the script is more of a guide, and it helps them out to understand that. And if they think about when we're doing a script and says, hey, could I say this line different? Because either it makes me feel uncomfortable, or if it's, I feel like it could say it better like this, or if it just sounds better to come up with a different line like this, then I'll say sure. So it's not like the gospel by any means, because these characters, yes, but the actor brings that role to life.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. Man. Oh, yeah. So when an actor says, "Oh, this line makes me feel uncomfortable," have you experienced that? And how are you like? And are your movies? What are they rated? Are they R rated? They have a lot of cussing in it. I know there's like action, violence type stuff, but
Well, I went from a Mormons versus zombie film where it had to be like PG-13 because like there was digital blood and like zombies had blood on them. And then I also filmed our movies, like, where there's just a lot of like blood and guts and swearing. So it's like I have no problem like filming like a G-rated film. I love the art of just making cinema. But for the audience, the target audience for Backfire, it demands violence and swearing and that kind of stuff. I mean, like, yeah, I can do the whole bleep thing if I wanted to, but when it comes to actors and if they don't like a line, then that's okay. I mean, like, we just change it right then and there, because sometimes when we write things, the joke might seem a little more risque than what they would have liked to say, and that's okay. One of my actresses, like, she can get some jokes. Some of them might. It's like she said, I'd rather not like say this one. Okay, fine, change it. No biggie.
oh wow, interesting. Wow.
So yeah, it's like I want everybody to feel comfortable on my sets. I mean, like for that to happen like with a line, it's very, very rare. It'll probably happen like maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
Over the course of 20 years, I've been doing this. So yeah, if you need to change it, it's fine.
Right, but it's not like it's rare. That's a rare, very rare occasion for that to happen.
Yeah. So it's like, look, I do allow a lot of freedom in my scripts if people want to change things, but I do hammer down the main details.
Yeah, so you get the main points and everything. Awesome, brother man. Well, thank you so much for being on here. Where can people find you? Social media wise, or what's the best way for them to keep in touch with you?
I have my Facebook and so forth. I check it all the time. I'm on Instagram. I do Facebook more than I do Instagram because people usually get lost when they're trying to find people's like acronym names and that kind of stuff. I have my IMDb on there. I say Facebook.
Okay, Facebook. So Facebook, Michael Mason.
Welcome.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a YouTube channel? No.
I got a YouTube. It has a few silly projects on there. Something about a haunted couch.
Oh, okay. All right.
But my wife has a YouTube where we go over the history of Doctor Who companions.
Oh.
So she's more active on that than I am on YouTube, because I feel like if you put like a major film on YouTube, it kind of like, I don't know. It's just, I didn't want to put anything on YouTube because I feel like it devalues the project. If you're trying to like push it into a film festival or try to get.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, if it's out there before, most of the time they won't even accept it if it's already out.
Yeah, that's why I never put any one of my big projects on YouTube, because that one reason alone.
But I mean, if it's been some years and you're probably not going to take them to any other film festivals, I think like it is a good way, or at least to put put scenes, showcase scenes and stuff. I think that would be something that I would like. I would personally like to see.
Yeah, so I'll probably do something with Mission Apocalypse on that front.
Okay.
But I want to see what else I can do with that project before I move forward with a big one like with like the Whitefire, Backfire, and so forth. And yeah, you're welcome, you guys. Thank you. It was good to see you guys too.
Yeah. Emily says thank you. Yeah. Right, Lisa. Guys, we'll be back at 7:30. I'll be back at 7:30 to do some improv. So we're at the studio. We do improv every Tuesday night. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. We get a little bit silly. And but yeah, anyway, thank you so much, Michael Mason. And check out his films. Check out his IMDb. And looking forward to your new films. And I will check out Apocalypse.
Mission Apocalypse.
Mission Apocalypse. Yes, Mission Apocalypse series. Awesome. All right, you guys. We'll see you soon.
All right.
All right. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. And good night.